Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new episode of WrestleCast. I'm your host, Richard Bailey Jr., and tonight I'm joined by Mr. Adam Vale. How's it going, Adam?
What's up? What's up? Another 15 hours of wrestling talk. That's right. Get some hot cocoa.
Well, it's pretty hot outside, so
Yeah,
hopefully
forget the hot cocoa.
no hot cocoa, maybe some something else, a little cooler. We're also joined by Miss Dana Abercrombie. How's it going, Dana?
Hello, everyone.
Yes. So we will not be joined by my very good friend Ricky this week because kind of busy at the moment, and I've had a pretty busy day also because I went to an indie game show earlier. But I'll talk more about that tomorrow on the co-op. So stay tuned for that discussion. But we definitely have quite a bit of things to talk about as far as the wrestling world this week because there's a lot of things that took place. Now, the last show we did was our great Balls of Fire prediction show, and I think that there was a lot that was said on that show. A lot of our thoughts as to what could potentially happen. So now that Great Balls of Fire has happened, I definitely wanted to get you guys' thoughts on what did you think of the show, and if you had any matches that you liked or did not like, as far as things go. So Data, how about you go first and tell me what your thoughts were on Great Balls of Fire and what you liked and didn't like about the show?
Well, I thought the show wasn't that bad. I was surprised that how decent everything was and how it came out. I truly, surprisingly loved the Brock Lesnar. What was the other? The Brock Lesnar. Yep, there you go. Samoa Joe fight. I thought that I love the fact that they actually fight. And I like the fact that it was an actual match. And it showed these two guys in their full power just going after each other. And afterwards, Brock Lesnar said that that was his favorite match and that Samoa Joe is just his favorite opponent. So my fingers are crossed that maybe we'll see another match in the future between the two. I thoroughly enjoyed that. The women's match was kind of boring, but they did the best with what they could. That was the main standout, was that Samoa Joe match, though.
I easily know why he considered that, and it's mainly because Samoa Joe does have a background in training in MMA training. He knows how to do a lot of those grapple holds, and I think that's something that sort of triggered in Brock's experience of going through the whole process of training. So when they did a lot of those lockups and reversals and stuff, it felt like they were doing a spar session, and it felt real. And plus, Samoa Joe, he's a big boy and he can go stiff. He's done the Japan tour. He's not a soft cookie, and that's the thing. And it felt also the whole aspect of back and forth, everything looked very believable, and it just came off as very sincere, like, oh, this is legit shit. This could go down anyway. As opposed to a lot of other matchups that we've seen with him, where it's like, yeah, he's gonna go in and dominate. It's like this one really could have gone either way. If you would have told somebody, you know what, Joe was gonna win this, and if they have never watched wrestling and they looked at both guys, they're like, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that could work. I could see that. And then the fact that on Raw that they threw him back in the mix. Even though they keep putting Roman there when he really has no business being there, you know what I mean? Like, what is this? Like, where's Waldo? Like, why is he here? You know what I mean? You lost your match, and then he's standing there and he's still with his cocky smirk. Well, it's like, what? You come off as this tough guy with a snooty attitude, which then puts you in that bully pain in the ass. I don't give a shit about you category. It's like, you don't belong here, and it's annoying that they just keep throwing him in there. It's like, what about me? It's like, what about you? You lost an ambulance match. It's no one cares about that. Just go away. It's like, it's sad, that it's just because he has a look that he's everywhere. You know what I mean? Because think about it. If he didn't have that look, he wouldn't be where he is right now. He doesn't have the ability in the ring, and I'm not just hating on him. I just don't see him there. He's a great mid-card guy. But for the top spot, the way they push it, the way they want you to be great on the mic and, to have charisma and work the crowd and have a good move set and all thing, he doesn't have those things. You know, give him a manager. You know what I mean? He could easily go heel again. What I keep saying, Paul Heyman guys, have him part of that. Create a stable. Do something else, because we're going year after year with the same BS with him, and it's not changing anything. You know, they put him against Braun, who was a big bad guy. You know, the big heel, and now he's a babyface. Everybody's cheering for Braun. You know what I mean? It's like, what do you want? What are you going to do? Well, he's going to destroy Braun, and then people are going to respect him. No, they're not. They just don't like him. And every time he opens his mouth, it hurts him even more. You know, when he gives those little smirks and stuff, you know what I'm talking about, right? It's like this little cockiness. It's like, it doesn't fit his character. You know, and it's like, and then that just comes off as like, oh, wow, you really must be a prick in real life, because that's coming off very genuine, and it's not working. You know, and then I'm telling you, on the mic, there's no way to have him in that section there when he was in the ring, and then Joe, and then say something again. Joe will destroy him any day of the week on the mic. So there is no reason why he should even come at him with anything. You know, and it's just, you know, I'm just glad that Joe is not out of the mix, you know, and that he's going to be there. And the fact that Brock likes to work with him, I'm sure Vince in the back is like, thank God. You know, because remember, a lot of people don't like working with him. Remember what happened with Dean Ambrose when he gave his little speech about how when he wanted to talk to Brock about work, he was like, all right, so what should we do? And Brock didn't give a shit. You know, and I think it's not so much that Brock doesn't give a shit. Brock just doesn't respect him. You know, doesn't see him as like, this isn't going to work. You know, this isn't believable. Look at me. I'm Brock. You know, I think he buys into his own shit more than anybody.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, you're definitely not on my level, you know. Run around with your jeans and your wife beater. No, you're not me. You know, but Joe is different. Joe is a big man who can move. You know, Joe can talk. Joe can sell a fight. You know, and Joe is believable, and I think that's a good thing. And I think eventually Joe will get that belt. You know, and sadly, I don't think Seth. Man, I think Seth is. I don't think he's going to be around, at least not on that level, for a while. I just don't feel.
Okay, well, hold on. Hold on. That's that. I definitely want to know more about that. But before I do that, Dana, so was there anything that you didn't like about the show, or you pretty much enjoyed almost everything about the show?
I didn't enjoy every single thing. I thought the whole Wyatt situation, it was just so boring, and I wasn't really interested in it. So the match for me wasn't that great of a result. It was rather boring, and it was completely underwhelming, and I felt that it kind of missed the whole mark of being on the show and having any type of attention whatsoever. Wyatt was fun to watch. He was overpowering, but it was just all a waste because it was something I didn't care about. The Enzo Amore and the big cast was the biggest downfall for me. I mean, it was a snooze fest where I had to rewind it 3 times just to pay attention to it. It was basically him just stomping on Enzo, and that was the end. And it really didn't have a meaning. It didn't build up or continue some type of story that I really should care about. Even if you was to throw in, like I said before, Big Show and just have him watch the match, that would have been more interesting than what they did. And as a result, I cared the least about that. The best thing about that match was just basically the video package.
The point is, I mean, you just said it. I mean, but think about it. We've never seen Enzo in a good match. You know what I mean? We've never seen him. That's the problem. And that's why it's like, I don't understand why they even bothered having this like match. You know, we knew it was going to be a squash fest. We knew it. Everybody knew it. There's no way in hell he was going to come out and pull on some amazing match, because if he had that in him, he would have done it in any other day, you know, but he can't do it.
Well,
he can't wrestle.
I mean, this is all true, but I think that match was only meant to build Cass, since they wanted him to be a star.
Building him on what? That he can beat up a little man, you know, and somebody that was his friend, that it didn't do much for him.
Oh, it didn't do much, but, you know, they established that, you know, well, now he has this new theme that sounds very generic and ridiculous.
It sounds like a create your own wrestler theme.
Yeah, but, you know, go ahead.
Sorry, my thing is this. Enzo has personality. We've seen that. He can't wrestle, but Hogan can't wrestle, and he has personality, and he's far superior than Enzo will ever be. What is it that Enzo needs to do in order to have that? I think that they need to find a wrestler who can help cover up Enzo's mistakes in the ring. And Cass, to me, can't wrestle either. So they're just crossing each other out.
Yeah, I mean, they have, if they can get pushed together, like squished together to make one complete package, then it would be there. Because you got the guy with the big height, you know, and the power, and then you got, but he can't talk on the mic, and then you got the little guy who can't really do much, but he's great on the mic, you know. And it's like, how can we like squish them together and just make one, you know? But we can't, you know, and that's the downfall. And they're both gonna, you know, I mean, the only thing you could say with Kaz is that over time, you know, he'll probably, you know, get better on the mic and he'll get better in the ring depending on his competition, you know, and hopefully someone like Big Show, I don't know how it works backstage, but maybe he can take him under his wing and be like, all right, this is how a big man should be wrestling. You know what I mean? Show him how to just do certain things. I don't know, just to help him out. I think he has a good shot at it as opposed to Enzo. Enzo is just, he has a great shot at being a manager, but I don't see him as a wrestler. Like, I mean, you don't look, when he comes down to the ring, you look forward to what he has to say, and you don't look forward to the actual match. You know what I mean? Because you don't, it sort of reminds you of like the Santino. You know, it's like, oh, Santino was hilarious and all thing, but he had some moments in the match which were funny. You know, and we knew Santino could wrestle. Santino could really go, but they didn't really put him in that spot. Enzo is not, he really doesn't have much experience besides the WWE. You know, so it's like he's still learning. You know, but I don't think on this level, the way they always advertise, oh, this is the best of the best. Well, you got a guy who's really not on that level. I mean, he should be back in NXT doing some other shit, you know, but man, I saw that and I knew what it was going to be. Everybody knew, unless they had made it, you know, false count anywhere or something, and then he would whip out like a bat or something. That was the only way I saw him winning. You know, or I thought maybe he would have some run in and he would have a new guy with him, you know, like somebody else that he could introduce. But didn't happen. So wasn't impressed by that.
They need to do something with Cass because he sounds like he just learned how to read his first book.
Yeah. Hey, wait a second. Well, I will say one thing. I think Cass still is better than when he was in NXT as far as talking. I mean, yeah. I thought the promo that he gave when he gave the reason why he wanted to break up, I thought that was a good promo, and I thought that was exactly what a lot of people felt anyway, because, I mean, Enzo doesn't even have a finisher. Cass is doing all the heavy lifting, so
yeah, his finisher is, you just said it on both ends. Cass's finisher, well, Enzo's finisher is Cass doing the heavy lifting of throwing him, you know, as a finisher. You know what I mean? It's like, what the hell is this?
So, you know, I mean, we need to see what they have planned for both of those characters. We will get into a little bit more about what's going on with both of them a little bit later, but definitely need some improvements. So, Adam, I definitely want you to tell me what you liked and didn't like about the show, but then I definitely want to talk about what I liked and didn't like about the show.
I really liked that show. I mean, from beginning to end, I mean, there was some soft spots, but overall, from what we've seen in the past, this was a better pay-per-view. This was one of the better ones, especially, you know, that Iron Man match, sort of what you could say it was an Iron Man match. The tag match that they had, that 30-minute match, you know, that was pretty good. That was like, man, I don't know. It's the whole thing with,
Is there a video issue on Adam's side?
Maybe this will be the turn for the broken, you know, and maybe this and that. And it's you know, and I understand a lot of people. I know some people that watch it are like, well, why do you give a shit about that? Who cares? It's just the Hardys. I'm like, it just brings new life to them. And for over a year, you know, I watched their broken version, you know, and how interesting and how different that vibe was for them as a characters, you know, how they just evolved. And to see them go back like this, I get it, you know, but it's like you just want them to go back to what they were doing because it was so fresh and new. And it's something that the WWE product needs right now. Something that's like, wow. And if for those who are listening, was like, oh, well, what are you talking about? Just look up the Broken. You'll see matches and you'll be like, oh, okay, this looks crazy. I mean, hell, he killed Jeff and Jeff came back from the dead, and was in Brother Nero. And it's like, it's so nuts, but it's those type of things. And then that's really all I was looking forward to. I'm like, and when he was getting beaten up, and even like what we saw on Raw, where they just took that ass whooping, and it's like, what is this? This is killing them off. Jeff saying that they're obsolete. Matt saying that they're, with the Broken and bringing the magic, I'm like, do it. It's not so much of like just, oh yeah, I know a lot of people like, yeah, you just like that indie stuff or this stuff. No. This will be refreshing for everyone. This will be refreshing for the product. This will be refreshing for the wrestlers because they got into a groove. They got into a serious groove. Think about like right now, if somebody was to say, Rich, we want to take you back 20 years in your life and put you back into the way you were seeing the world and the things that you were doing back then. And you're like, but I'm doing all this other stuff now. I got this website. No. Let's take all that away. Let's put you way back. Whatever. You know what I mean? Think about it. Now that here they show up, they sign this contract, and they're coming out to almost 20-year-old music. And wearing the old clothes and having to do. I mean, yeah, they did some of their signature moves, but they had almost a completely different move set when they were doing their craziness. And it's like you're throwing them back, and I know that I'm pretty sure that it must have been in their contract. It was like, all right, we'll do that for the nostalgia for a little bit, just to get reacclimated with the whole, the WWE and for the fans. But eventually we will progress and go into this new world because think about it, that's really why you wanted us, because we became a thing again. Remember that, Matt? They let Matt go. Matt, a lot of people are saying Jeff had his drug problem a long time, so they had to let him go. But Matt was doing crazy YouTube videos. Matt was broken before he even became broken. Remember? He was talking crazy and doing all these weird things that to the point that they had to let him go. And a lot of people never respected Matt. Hell, they fired him twice. Remember the whole scandal with Edge and Lita? And he was like, yo, my girl's cheating on me. What are you guys going to do about it? Well, we'll just let you go. Edge is a bigger star. And then people were chatting Matt and stuff because again, he was, everybody knew at that point. That's when they realized that the internet was here to stay. Because people were reading the internet, reading those, dirt sheets. I'm like, yo, what happened? Lita did what? And then that's it. But now they're relevant. And why are they relevant? Because of the Broken gimmick. Because if they were just free agents, they probably would have came back for like 1 or 2 matches, just for the nostalgia. And I'm like, all right, that's it, you're gone. Sort of like the Dudleys. It's like, oh, we'll put you in a few matches. You'll just help get other people over. You're not going to win anything. You'll help other people get over. We'll sell some tickets. We'll put you on the pay-per-views that usually don't sell, and then we'll call it a day. Win-win. You make some money from merch. No. The first day they came back, they won the titles, and they held it for a while. And they're still in the title hunt. They're still playing up there. But now that they're getting smashed like this, I hope this is a sign. And that they, even if they don't use the Broken, they don't have to do Broken. They could do something else, the deranged. They could do something crazy. I mean, they have a whole creative staff back there. Somebody could come up with another term for Broken, and then just do that.
Well, hey, we already know WWE Creative has its ups and downs, so we'll have to see. Yes, they do have a creative team, but they all aren't there together themselves. But that's all I'll say about that.
I'll tell you this much, though. Okay, when anybody says, I'm sure there's something special in their contract, because the Hardys were not hard up for money. The Hardys were not hard up for work. Remember, they were working Ring of Honor. They were doing Japan. They were doing Indies. They were doing their thing. They did not need WWE, and not at this point in their career. So there must have been something in that contract that sweetens the deal for them. Right. They say, all right, what do you want to come back? What do you want to do? Well, we'll do this, but we also want creative control over our characters, and we want to do this and this and this and that. And I know that at the time they did not know they were going to have the issue that they are with, Impact and the whole thing, with the owl. But, I'm sure that's still in their contract. So no matter what happens, like, hey, you said we still have rights over our characters. That's in the contract. So yeah, we're having some issues now, but once that's cleared up, we're doing us. And I mean, what's the WWE going to say? I mean, think about it. Even if that Broken gimmick does not go over in the WWE, doesn't work, they're still the Hardy Boys. You know what I mean? They're still the Hardy Boys. They can just squash that and go back to doing the same dongo, 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 you know, the same shit, and people will still cheer them. That's it. They could do no wrong. It's like the Kurt Angle thing. You know, it's like you didn't see that special, but Dana, you saw the special. I mean, he said it. He's like, I have a job for life here. You know what I mean? Vince said, I have a job for life. The Hardys are in that category. They have a job for life. They're so over with kids, and it's always about the kids. You know, and even with the broken game, that's also over with the kids and stuff because it's so crazy and it's fun. You know, it's like it's nuts.
That's true.
So, you know, it's gonna be fine. You know, like you said, you pointed that out, right? Where did you see that? That 7-17-17.
Oh yeah, that was something that Matt Hardy tweeted out, but that was before the controversy with the whole back and forth with Reby and you know, them saying, "Oh, we don't have anything cleared."
Yeah, I think they're still going to do it, and whether they have something worked out, and if they don't have something worked out, change it up. You don't have to be broken. You'd be something else. Like remember when Goldust wound up in Impact, and he was like, what was it, Black Rain or something? He did the makeup and the whole thing. It was pretty much the same type of gimmick, you know what I mean? Of like a Goldust, but all painted up, but crazy and weird. Same shit. Just do it, tweak it, spin it. That's all. And that's it, and it'll work. But it doesn't matter because they're all holding space for Aleister Black when he gets there, and he'll be the ruler of the WWE. That's the future.
Oh well, hey, we'll see. We'll see about that.
Future. Kenny Omega got nothing on him. Telling you.
Hey, no, I believe Aleister Black will be excellent on the main roster as long as, you know, they preserve the character and keep him the way he is now on NXT. But we'll see. But you pretty much said that you enjoyed the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I liked it.
So one thing I'm gonna say real quick because I know we have to.
Wait, one thing I was upset.
What's that?
And a lot of people felt this way, and I felt this way. 1F5, that's it. That's all it takes. 1F5, and you're out. You know that really bothered me because I mean it sort of takes me back to the old days of like when you put a finisher on them, that's it. Match is over. You know, one finisher. We live in an age where we've gotten so accustomed to people kicking out of finishers. You know, at least the first one. So you're expecting the second one. And here it is. He puts the F5 on Joe and 1, 2, 3. And I'm like, oh, wow. I don't know. I thought he would at least kick out and, you know, fight it or something. Nope. He took it, you know, and people were like, well, he took a bunch of suplexes. I know, but still, he still had the upper hand for majority of the match.
So you know what that means? That means that Brock liked working with Joe, but he didn't like working with him that much because then he would be like, okay, yeah, you know, he probably told him, no, when I give you the F5, that's it, it's over. I don't want you getting back up.
Yeah, people saying, oh well, they were running on time constraints because it took so long to do the Braun Strowman bit, you know, and to get him out with the jaws of life and all that stuff. Because remember they had that impromptu match. You know, where Heath Slater, what was it? Heath Slater posted on Twitter because they didn't even show the finish.
They didn't show it, but
yeah.
You heard it.
Yeah, you heard it. And the guy said, if you missed it, I did a Canadian destroyer from the top rope, you know, and it was amazing, you know, and it was so funny when I saw that. I was like, oh my God. You know, because do you know the Canadian destroyer? Do you know that finisher?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that crazy, weird flip, you know, sunset flip type of thing. But he said he did it from the top rope. And he said, yeah, it was awesome, you know. But, real quick, because I know I'm going to forget this. Remember when we were talking about Austin Aries and his WrestleMania moment?
Yeah.
I found out, and I didn't know this, that match is not on the DVD.
Yes.
And that was the other thing. He did not get any of the WrestleMania money bonus because it's not on a DVD or the Blu-ray.
Yes, I'm glad you pointed that out because
and that sucks.
I got that information. So this is why the departure was.
That I would be hot if something like that happened. I'm like, are you kidding? I was there though. Doesn't matter. We're not adding it.
Yeah, well, pre-show, right? That's what I'm saying. Pre-show. So that's a problem.
See, but that's bullshit because I've seen on other Blu-rays, at least on maybe they're doing things different. But I remember on Blu-rays, and they had those Andre Giant Battle Royals, and they would put those on the Blu-ray. And that was a pre-show stuff, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll put this on. It's added features, extra matches." I mean, come on now. What's the reason of not adding that? You know, that's
Yeah, because I mean, that was one match I was actually looking forward to at WrestleMania more so than the others. So
that was a stiff match. I thought Austin Aries broke his neck at least 2 times in that match. I'm like, yo, it's done. His career did not last long here.
Yeah, well, hey, well, he doesn't have to worry about that now. You know, at least as far as WWE is concerned, he can go elsewhere.
Then there was more rumor stuff saying that he has a bad attitude, and some people like it's good riddance, you know, and. There was some other wrestlers coming out, other indie wrestlers who were like, well, that's Austin, you know. I'm like, what the hell? So, I mean, there might be some truth to it. Maybe he likes to do things his own way. You know, I don't know. But I'm sure it'll work out.
It'll definitely work out. But I think if he had a bad attitude, I would say that was justified because a lot of people he wrestled with, they're on the main roster. You know, you wrestle with AJ Styles. And yet you got this guy in 205 Live, a struggling cruiserweight division that needs work. So, and they didn't even want to give him the title either. So it's like, I mean, I would have thought he would have at least won one of those matches with Neville.
Yeah, I was surprised. He never won. He never won any of them. And so how many times is he going to compete for that title if he can't win? I mean, at one point, everybody in that group won the belt. Think about it, right? Everybody touched that belt. You know, and had it. I mean, even TJ Perkins, he only had it for like, I think 2 weeks. And then after that, he lost it, you know, and he just kept bouncing around from everybody. So, I mean, you would think he would at some point get the belt, and they just didn't put it on him. So that right there is a clear sign that they were having issues with him. And they were like, nah, you're not getting it.
Yeah, you know? Absolutely. All right, so let me just talk real quick about what I liked and didn't like about the pay-per-view. I did think Great Balls of Fire was a pretty good show, pretty decent show. The Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar match, I mean, it was good for what it was, but I still felt it was too short. You know, I wanted to see, and like you said, you know, he only kicked out of one F5. I wanted to see.
No, he didn't even kick out of the F5.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he didn't kick out. He didn't kick out of the F5. So. I definitely wanted that match to last a little bit longer, but I know the focal point of that pay-per-view, it was, you know, we could say the Hardys match, yep, that was up there, but the focal point of that pay-per-view was on Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman because of all the fact that they had the segment after the match. I'm glad, by the way, that Braun won because, you know, I feel like, you know, it was good for his career to win, but the whole situation and what happened afterwards was it was entertaining, but it was ridiculous because, and this is why I know when I saw Raw, they never addressed the whole heel thing with Reigns because, I mean, that just made no kind of sense. After Reigns loses the match, he attacks Braun Strowman, you know, and Braun Strowman is supposed to be the heel, but Reigns attacks him, but no, that's not a heel move. And then, of course, the whole thing with the ambulance, the crashing, oh no, they did it in the Attitude Era, so it's totally fine to do it now. That did not make any kind of sense whatsoever.
I think it was funny.
What's
and
that?
It got people to watch. It was funny, and it got people to watch, and people like they go back to that nostalgia era. I miss that. I miss people trying to actually kill other people.
I felt like
whole segment, like it had me at my heart. I loved it.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with the moment. There's nothing wrong with the moment. I thought the moment was awesome. I didn't like how the next night after that, because everybody was on pins and needles. They thought like, okay, so this is definitely a double turn now because of how that match ended. But then it's like it's just totally forgotten about. He just says, oh, well, they did this during the Attitude Era, you know.
But again, I think they're just trying to make him into like the modern day Steve Austin. You know, it's like, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? No, he's an anti-hero.
No, he's the guy.
He's just the guy, you know, and that's the thing. It's like, no matter whether he wins or loses, he keeps saying, this is my yard and I deserve the title. I'm like, what is wrong with you? You know what I mean? It's like, but this is what they're writing for him. You see, it works with Austin because Austin was over with the fans. So the fans, he could do no wrong. People loved him. Remember, he was beating up on Mick Foley, and when he was, you know, Mankind, and when he was, you know, corporate and the whole thing. But they had those crazy matches, you know, and still, you know, people loved him. And I think that's the whole thing that Vince is trying to do is like, you know what? Yeah, he'll lose on matches, but he's going to get back. And he's going to go and try to destroy the monster by doing this whole thing with the truck. And it's like, okay, you're building these weird spots and these gimmick spots, but it's not helping, Roman, because he's not Austin. Austin could work the mic and get people hyped and stuff, and like we said, when Roman gets on the mic, it makes you hate him even more as a person.
Or maybe they're trying to make him the next Rock.
Oh, we definitely can't do that. You couldn't even get the rub from The Rock when The Rock was in the ring with him. Never forget that. Remember? He was like, "Oh, this is my cousin." And he pointed, and every time he would lift the guys on, they booed the shit on him.
Yeah, they made it worse. He had a look of confusion.
Man.
I mean, I like I said, I don't have a problem with Vince wanting to make Reigns the face of the company.
Really?
But I just feel like there's so much talent there. And this gets to another point that I definitely want to make. Now, as I said, the show, it was still a good show in some regards. I don't really have too many complaints but I do have a few complaints. Number one, and at the very top of the complaint, where the hell was Finn Balor on this card?
They said they scrapped it. They scrapped that match.
Yeah, they scrapped the match and they had it at Raw the next night, which is fine, I guess. But, Finn Balor, I know they said he is outside the title picture now. That's fine. But, I mean, I would at least think that you would still have him on that card also, because you want people to still care about this character, to be invested in the character. So I didn't understand that match. And then, of course, we had Dean Ambrose and The Miz. I am tired of them feuding with each other. I'm totally fine with both characters being on Raw, even though, I thought Miz was better on SmackDown, but this needs to end. And for what we saw on Raw, it's not going to end. Maybe SummerSlam is when it finally ends, but these guys need to move on to other people now. It's ridiculous to see them constantly go back and forth. I mean, we already saw this feud on SmackDown before they got traded, so I don't understand the logic of continuously having that. Now, I am glad that Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel are now, they actually getting TV time. They have a role with Miz's team. That's great. But this feud with Dean Ambrose needs to be over with. I'm tired of it. And I think, Miz needs better opponents and all the people on the roster for Raw. Dean
it's
also.
Embarrassing. Yeah, it's embarrassing because, like you said, I mean, why do we see them constantly feuding when there's all this great talent that's on that roster? You mean you can't throw anybody else into the mix? You know what I mean? It's like, what I miss also besides the Attitude Era, it's just the stables. There was a bunch of stables, and that's what's big in the indie scene right now. You got the Bullet Club, and you got a few other groups before they had the Kingdom, and it's stables. Create stables. Because that helps out other guys, and they can still do their own independent feuds with people, but at the end of the day, they're still part of a special group of people, and that can work. I don't know why they do it. They did it with the Wyatt, and that was great, and it made sense, and then they just disbanded them, and they don't even talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, you're right. You're right.
They'll tease the Shield, like they did again, and then of course Dean was like, "We're never doing that because Seth, you ruined that." Like, okay, but who ruined it for the Wyatts? You know what I mean? It's like, what happened with that? I mean, what?
That's easy.
It's like
we can answer that question right now. WWE Creative ruined it for the Wyatts.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like they need to bring that back now. I talked about it. Maybe I did. I don't know if I did. So WWE signed Crazy Steve. And people are like, "Oh, what Crazy Steve?" Look up Crazy Steve from TNA Impact. He's like a twisted version of Doink the Clown. Real creepy looking, right? And that's always been his gimmick, And so he's great on the mic also. Now that's his thing, and they signed him. So I wouldn't be surprised if he comes in with that craziness. But if they do that, they have to add him with the craziness of something, like the broken gimmick. You have to do something because by himself it wouldn't work. He needs a crazy stable, and that's what it's missing. It's missing that element because that was the thing. Yeah, the Attitude Era had a lot of crazy violence. We've talked about that. We've seen that, but it also had a lot of over the top stuff. The unexpected, unbelievable, crazy character, Papa Shango, and the Boogeyman and all kinds of things. I mean. Oh, the Godfather, they had a pimp. The guy will come down with hose. You know what I mean? It's like, it was so over the top. And they need to add some of that extra color, into this because fine, you go PG-13 and you cut that stuff out, but then you also cut out the blood, and then you cut out the smack talking, and everything just seems real bland, you know. And it's like as if like they need competition to spark the fire, you know, and so that way they could actually care about the product. Because right now it doesn't seem like they do. You know, it's like they get into like I guess a rut, you know, and they're like, well, we'll just keep doing this, you know, and see what happens, whatever, you know, and it's sad.
Well, yeah, I think it's again like you said, you know, the Attitude Era. They at that point they was competing with WCW, WWE. I think they now think they have no competition, so therefore the quality does not always need to be good, and that's unfortunate because that's, I mean,
well, they have competition coming. They have Japan. New Japan is
New
now
Japan.
on U.S. soil, like that G1 special. That was in California.
Yeah.
And they made a U.S. title belt, and that's going to be defended here in the States. And I watched the G1 in English, and then I watched it in Japanese, just because I just like the screaming. But there's one thing that I kept hearing, right? When Cody came out, Cody was doing his match, I kept hearing WWE, WWE, WWE. They were referring a lot to Cody being from WWE, you know, and I'm like, okay. So they're not pulling what WWE usually does, where they just say, "Oh, this guy was from another federation." I mean, they do say Japan. You know, they say, "Oh, he made a big name for himself in Japan." Well, Japanese, you know, New Japan is now here in the States, and they're clearly saying that they have certain talent that's from the WWE product. You know, and so I think that it's just everything's pointing that they're going to be a real competitor. You know, and they're just letting their market know that, look, we got guys from the WWE, big name guys, they're coming here. You know what I mean? And this is a real thing. And I don't know if Vince sees it that way, because he's always tried to see the two separate of like, well, no, what they do in Japan is a completely different product. So that's why it's okay to say these guys are from Japan.
Oh no, I think I know exactly how Vince sees it, and that is that he will try to find a way to try and get some of their talent on the roster. Still, because you know, I know they've tried to go after Okada.
I mean, they could try. They could try. They got Shinsuke. You know, they took Shinsuke. You know, and you know they tried, but and of course even Finn. They got Finn. You know, and then he created the Bullet Club and whole thing. They took AJ. You know, they done it. They took what you call it, Gallows. You know, and Anderson. They've raided. They've done the raid, but it doesn't stop. You know, it didn't stop New Japan. And they have, you know, their Kenny Omega. They have Cody. They have, you know, oh man, a bunch of the main Japanese guys that I do not see ever jumping ship. You know, and I think they're going to be a competitor, and this is the best time for them to jump in, because people are looking for something different. I mean, there's nothing different. There's nothing far beyond Lucha Underground. That is as far disconnected from any kind of product you can get. And I keep telling people, watch Lucha Underground. It's just like out there, you know. But, you know, when it comes to something on the same lines of what we're used to with WWE, Ring of Honor, New Japan, those two are big players right now, you know, and I can see them growing, you know, and that's good. That's a good thing. You know, because I think a lot of these stars don't need to go to WWE. I don't think Kenny Omega needs to go to WWE. You know, I don't think so. I think he should be fine where he is now. Because one thing that we've all seen, and we're seeing it now, is that WWE scooped up a lot of these guys. But just like any business, you know, any sport team, we see it a lot in sport teams. You know, big team picks up a bunch of players. Some slip through the cracks. You know, some don't live up to that potential or don't get up there. And why is that? Not so much on the talent, just maybe the team, the lack of chemistry, the whole thing. And in wrestling terms, lack of knowing what to do with them. You know, you have all this talent. What do? You know, the reason why a lot of these guys got big in other federations is because they were seen as a focal point. You know, the companies looked at them and said, all right, you're going to be the guy. We're going to boost you. Now you take that number one guy and you put him in a federation that has a whole bunch of number ones. You know, and it's like, okay, now how do we squeeze this guy in with all these other number ones? You know, and that's the problem that they're having. You know, I mean, the worst thing that could have happened, I think, for Finn was getting injured. Because here it is, he had that title. They gave him that, you know, the historic number one Universal Champion, you know, and he's there. And then he got hurt. And then all these other people started squishing in. And now you have Joe involved in that. And you have all these other names. And everyone's just in there. and it's just too much going on, you know. And he's not getting the attention that he was getting when he first showed up, like in NXT.
Yep.
You know, and it's a shame because either he's going to eventually get frustrated and want out, and they're going to let him out because they don't know what to do with him. You know, like the old saying, creative has nothing for you, you know, and he's going to be on the out, then he's going to leave, probably do some big things elsewhere, you know, and then they're going to want him back because that's usually how it works. You know, they let you go, and then they offer a lot of money, and then some people take it, some people don't. Most of the time, people do take it because it is a lot of money, you know. But it's a man, I don't know how it works with the creative back there. I don't know if there's just one group that's responsible for SmackDown and for Raw. I know there's a separate group for NXT because that's its own thing, but they need to do the same for both. You know, they need to really work on it. I mean, I remember when Paul Heyman talked about it a while ago on one of his specials on that main one they put on the network, and he had talked about how when he had full control after the whole ECW collapse and the whole thing, and then even with the rebranded ECW, remember he walked out. He was like, "I'm done with this shit." Right? But when they brought him back and said, "All right, we'll give you SmackDown," just write some, that went through the roof. You know, he was doing some craziness. People were tuning in and watching it, and then it needs its own attention. You know, you have too many superstars, too many big name stars that people want to see. You know, you're constantly gobbling up guys from the indies, and you're taking them in because you know they can offer something, but you're not putting their full potential out there for everybody to see why they were worth picking up in the first place. You know, like Kevin Owens, awesome, right? Kevin Owens, if anybody right now, look up on YouTube, Kevin Owens, best of, you're going to see him in some amazing matches, pull out some amazing moves. You don't even see 1/10 of that in WWE, you know, and it's like, whoa, what happened? I think the best thing about it, I still to this day, I think the best match he's had in WWE was when he was feuding against John Cena. And that was because John Cena was like, yo, do you in this match, and I'll go with it. And next you know, he was doing that weird side power bomb from the top rope, remember? With Cena. Cena was taking bumps that people were like, mind blown. We didn't even know he could take a bump like that. You know? But it was working, and it worked for both of them. You know, it worked. It got Owens over, and it got Cena over in my book. And I'm like, respect. This guy is willing to go above and beyond, you know, especially for a new guy. You know, he's broken the mold of guys that have been around in the biz that are scared to lose their spots and stuff. He's a made man. He's not scared of losing anything, you know. So if he thinks you're worth it, I am 100% behind that. Cena will help you get over. So if I ever see Cena saying, "Oh, he's going to be feuding with this guy," then that means he's giving him the nod, and he's going to pull some amazing matches with him.
Yeah. So so in other words, we'll definitely see that with Rusev in a few weeks.
Yeah. There you go. Rusev. Rusev is going to get that rub, you know, and Rusev is good. Rusev is better on the mic. Rusev is hilarious. Yeah. You know what I mean? Rusev is something else. Like, I don't know how they can incorporate that comedy with the serious brute that he's supposed to be. They need to figure something out because he's a great worker and he's funny on the mic. Did you see any of those that spoof Federation one that John Cena did?
Oh yeah.
You know, and then he's on there. Rusev's on it with the farmer and stuff. It was hilarious.
Yeah, that was some of the best stuff that they have done.
Yeah, there you go. And that was all on them. That was all on John Cena just saying, "Oh, can I get some of the production guys? I want to film some stuff." You know, some of the boys want to do it. All right. You know, and it worked.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's I just hope, and it's that, but it really comes down to creative, you know, and putting them in good matches and putting them in some creative storylines which people want to watch. I mean, right now, a lot of people want to tune in and watch on Raw for a few reasons. And one of them is the whole thing with Kurt Angle, you know, and what's happening with Kurt Angle.
Oh, well, wait a second. We're going to get into that.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. No, we're definitely going to get into that. Let's, let's move on to a couple other topics. I will just end off and say that, yeah, even though I complained about some stuff with Great Balls of Fire, it was still a very good show. So looking forward to seeing what comes next. And we'll see what happens. So jumping to another topic real quick, because this actually happened recently. WWE decided to cancel Talking Smack and Unfiltered with Renee Young, and they did not tell any of the people involved about this. They had to find out on Twitter. So did you guys have any quick thoughts on that particular situation?
It's not really canceled, right? They just limited, right?
To every pay-per-view.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think Unfiltered is canceled for good.
That's not good.
Unfiltered's gone. It's dead.
Yeah. Unfiltered.
I thought that was canceled. I didn't even know. There you go. That's like poof, right over the head.
They didn't inform her about it.
Yeah, they didn't inform her about it. But yeah, what you were saying, Talk of Smack is no longer a weekly show. I did see the reactions that The Miz, Daniel Bryan, and Renee Young had to that, and that is unfortunate. But WWE, they shot their own selves in the foot with that one because they had it coming on after 205 Live, which I didn't think was a wise decision because no one is still watching. A lot of people tune out with 205 Live, unfortunately.
Yeah. There's too many, and if they're not, that's too many hours of wrestling. You know what I mean? It's like on a Tuesday, it's like you have the 2 hours of SmackDown, you have another one of 205, that's 3 hours, and now you want people to stay for a 4th hour?
But people were watching it. They was just watching it on their own time.
Yeah, on their own time.
The excuse that no one's watching the show that WWE said, I think was completely ridiculous and disrespectful to the actual SmackDown, which itself is Raw. And I think that the biggest problem that WWE is having right now is that they don't recognize that SmackDown and Raw is still under WWE. Yeah, you can have it where you're competing against each other, but at the end of the day, the company still wins. And they're at this moment where they're completely trying to sabotage themselves by canceling. Okay, forget Unfiltered. No one really watched it. I didn't really watch it. But by canceling Talking Smack, and by also, after that trade with all of the superstars that left SmackDown, they did that on purpose. So if you really look, the show has been suffering since then. And I don't know if this was actually a form of payback towards Renee Young, because she did get married to Dean Ambrose in secret. She never told WWE, and therefore they didn't have that storyline that was supposed to be on Total Divas. And she's also offered the show as well. So there's a lot of things that WWE is doing that I don't actually understand. That doesn't make any sense. And they're having a very serious identity crisis where they just they want to destroy themselves. And it got so popular. There's a list that Max Landis created. It was basically a petition to get the show back on air. And it's been signed by a lot of fans and by actual people in the whole Hollywood industry. So that should be very interesting of how that plays out. But the WWE is seriously suffering, and I don't know what it can do to save itself aside from realizing that it's the same company.
See, I didn't know that petition. I didn't know about petition. I didn't know about that. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
One thing I did want to say, you made a lot of excellent points.
I find it funny, a petition for a recap show. You know what I mean? It's like
it allowed the actual talent to shine. Yeah. And because of that show, we really got introduced to The Miz. And we fell in love with The Miz that way. And people were actually able to show off their personality who wouldn't have much of a chance on SmackDown. So yes, it was a recap show, but it was also more than that. And so to take away that opportunity, you're also hurting the wrestlers. And you're hurting their money, and you're hurting everything. The whole thing triples down. It goes down, and it makes no sense whatsoever. It's kind of like this inner battle with itself. And at the end of the day, WWE is suffering because of their own actions against themselves.
What if they were to bring it back but change the name and not call it like Talking Smack and just make it like a weird talk show? Like I think Vince had one years ago. I forgot what it was called, Titans or something of Titans, and it was just like Vince interviewing wrestlers and just talking to them. Yeah, it was Clash of Titans. Yeah. What if they did something like that, where it was like Renee Young was the host, and they would bring these people on and just talk about what's going on? You know, maybe that'll work. Maybe if they just changed it.
No different than Talking Smack, kind of.
Yeah, but not right after SmackDown, meaning like it doesn't have to be live.
Well, even if they moved the show, that would be a much better idea than to cancel it full out, or even have it as a once-a-month thing.
Yeah, I definitely like that idea of, I would I would go far enough to say that if they did decide to have another show, you know, if you want to get to know the wrestlers a little bit more in character or whatever situations they're going on, well, you should also allow other wrestlers to be on there from, you know, Raw as well, maybe even NXT. But one thing I was going to say, I mean, Dana's already said it. Yeah, you know, one of the major things that was talked about on Talk of Smack was when Miz had that discussion with Daniel Bryan, and that was the promo he cut where everyone was like, "Wow, the Miz just dropped the mic right there." So it definitely did allow characters to build, and I think the point that Dana made about, if you notice how SmackDown, when they did the brand split, and SmackDown had what they were pretty much doing what they were doing. Yeah, you had the resurgence of Miz. You had Alexa Bliss become a dominant champion. And now you see all of those people are now on Raw in the exact same storylines, but it's not really quite as compelling. So they really did take a lot from SmackDown. Maybe they said, well, SmackDown is getting to be too, you know, maybe a lot of people were saying SmackDown is a better show. Because a lot of people were saying that in the beginning when they did that brand split. And then now the writers and Vince have decided, well, no, now we're going to fix things. We're going to take all of these talent, put them on there, and just change it up. So it's unfortunate. Because, you know, SmackDown is still okay now. I mean, yeah, you know, Shinsuke's on there. You got Kevin Owens. You got Sami Zayn. But it still feels like it's missing a lot of the elements that made it great in the beginning.
It feels like a B show. It feels like it was before the brand split, before it even went live. You know what I mean? It's like, why did you do it? Why did you decide to go live if you're just going to do the same old shit that you were doing when it wasn't live? You know, it just doesn't make sense. You know, and I think the reason why we're still seeing the Dean and the Miz and that whole gimmick is because it did get over, you know, on SmackDown, and Vince was like, well, Raw's the bigger show. Raw is the one that's bringing the money, you know, with the advertisers, so let's just move that over to the big show. It just makes sense, you know, and then people will tune in to watch it there. We'll get the viewership numbers up, and, you know, they have shareholders to show off to. And look, our numbers going up. This is why. I think that was their whole thing. You know, they probably don't really care too much about SmackDown. The only reason why it turned to live is just so it could make USA Network feel better, so that way they have more viewers. But I don't think they really give a shit whether it was taped or not, you know, because if they did, we wouldn't see a decline like this so fast.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just they show like they don't really care about this, the storylines or anything that's happening on it. So
that's true. And the same matches we have Naomi going up against Lana, who is in the title in 3 title matches.
She's in the same boat as Roman Reigns. You know, you're only in this spot because of your looks. You know, she has no business being in that spot, and it's a smack in the face to all those other women that are there. You know, especially a lot of women that have been wrestling, like that's their career, that's their thing, that's their profession, wrestling. Here's this girl comes in, she's beautiful, you know, and she's good on the mic, and she's there to do a valet stuff. Now she wants to wrestle, and this is what they do. They throw her right in the top spot. It's bullshit. That is bullshit.
And I do believe that she is also in, once again, another opportunity to earn a title shot.
She's going to get it. Through one of these, she's definitely going to get it. You know, whether Rusev helps her, does some cheesy interference or something, she's definitely going to get the title. You know, or else they wouldn't be setting this up. You know, and so she's definitely going to get it. And that's what upsets me. You know, she doesn't deserve it. You know, has Mickey even gotten it? Has Mickey James gotten it?
Oh, right. Mickey's on Raw now, so
they moved her.
Oh yeah,
I have not seen her. Oh, that's right, she is. It's been. I have not seen her.
Yeah, but you know, because the focal point on Raw is all about Alexa Bliss now. It was about Bayley, Alexa Bliss, Sasha, and Nia Jax to some degree, but now it's really just about Bayley. Well, not about Bayley really. There probably will be a 4-way. It's somewhere down the line with Bayley, Nia Jax, Alexa Bliss, and Sasha. But it's all about Sasha and Alexa Bliss for the most part now. So that's unfortunate. We'll see what happens. But any final thoughts on this topic before we move on to the next?
No, Lana can't wrestle. Get rid of her.
Uh-oh. Ouch. That hurts.
Yeah. Just put her back on the mic as a valet.
Yeah, you hurt Rusev with that one.
What was it? There was what's her name? Victoria. Remember Victoria?
Yes.
Right. So Victoria, she was on I think it was Jim Ross's podcast, maybe a year ago or something. So she had a wrestling themed restaurant in Chicago and the whole thing. But she talked about that she would go backstage and she would just, whenever they were in town, and she would talk to people. And she talked about meeting with Lana. And that Lana was like, "Oh, I would like to get into wrestling. I'd like to do it one day, and but I don't know the best way of going about doing it." Like, she was asking for some advice, but it's like, it's those type of things. It's like, all right, you're getting the bug now, but you have to really want to do it. You know what I mean? You have to be physical, and that's the thing. A lot of these girls, and we see a lot of them get hurt, when they're not used to it and they try to rush into the spotlight like that. Basically, they're not on that level, is what I'm saying. It's like WWE is a high level, just from the constant wear and tear on your body. You do a lot of matches, and she's not ready for that. If she wants to get into wrestling, and I'm sorry, throw her down in NXT. Get her feet wet. Get her doing some other matches. Don't throw her up like this the way they're doing, because then you're not just doing a harm to her, but you're doing a harm to the whole women's division when you do shit like that.
Yeah.
Because it's like a smack in the face to all these girls that come out with their packages of how they've been wrestling since they were 15, 16, like Becky Lynch, to get to that point. And what you're basically saying, all it really takes is to have a pretty face and a banging bob like this, and that's it. That's all that matters. Because she comes out, you see, she takes her robe off, everyone's like, woo, 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 woo. And then Vince's mind's like, see, that's what they want to see. That's what they want to see.
Yeah.
Does it matter if she can wrestle? I don't think so.
That's what Vince also wants to see. So
that's it. It's the Kelly shit all over again.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's like, oh, she can smile. Can she talk? Doesn't fucking matter. Can she? Doesn't matter. Look at her. That's it.
That's right. That's right.
But then it's a contradiction, because then you'll see on all their battle back. What was it? Was it Backgrounds? What was that special that they did? Battleground? Was it Battleground? Where they remember they followed the NXT guys in a performance center. What was it called? Proving Grounds.
That's it.
Right? And all the other ones. Breaking Grounds. And they do that, and all the other ones, and Tough Enough, and saying, yeah, you need to do this. You need to commit. You have to have this great promos. You got to do this. Bullshit. You just put this other chick up there. You just put this other guy up there. They don't have these things. Well, we make exceptions. And that's it. That's the bottom line. They do make exceptions. And then when they do those exceptions and they make it so obvious, like with Lana, it's like, what a waste. You know what I mean? Like, look at all these girls that I think you're going to talk about it later. The girls that are going to be in the Mae Young tournament.
Well, actually, yeah, I was actually going to let Dana jump into that now.
Yep.
Yes, yeah, Dana. So let us know more about the Mae Young Classic, because there was a couple of things that took place the last couple of days that you've been keeping up on.
Basically what happened during the tournament, they introduced the 32 competitors that's going to start wrestling. I believe they filmed it yesterday is when they started filming it. Basically what we had, first off, I just wanted to say at ringside, they did this huge video thing, and they didn't necessarily introduce her, but if you look on the WWE website, they did this huge arrival of Ronda Rousey being there. She has some of her girls from MMA who are in the tournament as well. So here is the list of basically the 32 competitors, and then I'll explain how the show is going to be broken down and when does it start. So we have Sarah Logan, Bianca Belair, Abby Laith, Candice LeRae, which had a huge pop, Dakota Kai, Serena Deeb, Vanessa Bourne. I'm going to mispronounce this name. I'm going to just say it's Xia Lee. I cannot pronounce it. I believe she's from Japan. Rachel Evers, Sage Beckett, Kaylee Ray, Tessa Blanchard, Toni Storm, Marty Bell, Lacey Evans, Santana Garrett, Nicole Savoy, Aisha Raymond, Reina Gonzalez, Shayna Baszler, who is Ronda Rousey's girl, Piper Naveen, Maya Yim, Miranda Salinas, Renee Michelle, Princea Sugarhit, Mercedes Martinez, Jazzy Gabert, Tanera Kandi, Kari Sane, Zeta, Ray Ripley, and Kavita Devi, which I'm sure I butchered some of those names. Had all of their own introductions. It wasn't that long. It was basically about a 15-second, maybe 20-second introduction with this, just them coming in and, you know, doing their little pose and then immediately leaving the ring and starting with the next girl. So they announced that the tournament is going to start immediately after SummerSlam on the WWE Network. The first 4 episodes of the single elimination tournament will be available on demand starting Monday, August 28th. Episodes 5 through 8 will be available on demand Monday, September 4th, and the final match will stream live from Las Vegas on Tuesday on September 12th. So that is basically announced in the entire, maybe about a 30-minute segment.
So I would like to make a quick comment, and I'll let Adam chime in afterwards. I did see the news you mentioned of Ronda Rousey being there. They made a big deal about her being there. I just would like to say this right now. I have respect for Ronda Rousey, but I don't think that she would really provide much value if she was to come to WWE now, because, I mean, she's already lost in UFC. I guess there's some people that will still think, well, she could still have a future with WWE, maybe, but I feel like that time has already passed. But with that said, the fact that she was there, I guess that's good. That's good. You know, it's a lot of good attention that WWE gets off of that. I know WWE right now is very, very desperate to get some attention because of the Mayweather-McGregor fight that's coming up. And I know that that's out there, that they definitely want to try to get in on that. So if anytime somebody shows up that is from UFC or used to be with UFC, they definitely will make a big deal out of that. But yeah, it's a lot of great names on that list. Looking forward to seeing all the action when it starts to take place, when they actually start airing it.
Well, Ronda would have been a great, wonderful news and a big pop if this was 2015, but no one really cares. So I don't exactly see that.
I think Ronda cares because she's messing with messing with your connection over there.
There you go. I think she's still relevant. I think that, remember, WWE knows how to package. They wouldn't just throw her in. She still holds titles, man. She's still the longest running female MMA fighting champion. I mean, she held that title. She held it. She's in the Hall of Fame for it. You know what I mean? They can't take that away from her. She is still a beast. You know, it's no different than when Brock came back after a loss. You know, people didn't care, and they were like, it's still Brock. You know what I mean? They did the packages, and they showed what he can do, and the same goes with Ronda. You know, UFC and WWE, they're on good terms now because of the whole Brock thing. So I'm sure that they'll sign off. Well, then again, it's new owners now, maybe. Who knows? But I'm sure they would have to sign off on some packages just showing how she was just destroying people. Remember? She was just destroying people. You're submitting them like crazy. She is still Ronda Rousey. You know what I mean? And she can wake people up, and people will still cheer her because they will respect her for what she has accomplished. You know, there's no way in hell she was ever going to be able to come into WWE as a champion from UFC. Never. It was never going to happen. Everybody pretty much knew if she ever showed up, it was going to be if she lost that title. And she did. She lost the title. Everybody gets beat, and it's just the way it is. You know what I mean? So I think she's still relevant. You know, she is a great heel. She is great on the mic. You know, she can sell a fight. And I think that if they do sign her, she will be the female version of Brock. You know, she will be the fight that everybody wants to see Vince's to go against what's her name from NXT? Oh my God, I'm blanking now. You know what I'm talking about? That would be a great fight right there.
I don't think Asuka's gonna be in NXT much longer.
They haven't moved her up because they don't know what to do with her. You know, but I think that would be the best point right there, just this hype of that fight. Because then they bring her in, she'll be in the top, and then they'll build it up for that fight, which could be for WrestleMania. And then when Ronda wins it, Ronda keeps it, and she has a deal similar to Brock. She comes out every once in a while and just decimates these girls. Because that's one thing. I mean, yeah, she lost 2 fights, but she's won plenty of other fights. Big name fights, and submitted people countless times, back to back arm bars. No one could ever take that away. No one could ever take it away. And she knows how to sell a fight. She is great on the mic, and she's intense. None of those girls are intense. They know how to talk, and they do the wittiness. And Charlotte Flair is playing off of the cockiness like her dad and stuff. But no one brings that intensity. They're like, I will kick your ass, and it's believable. it. You see it when she looks. She strikes fear. She strikes fear. And Ronda is a Hollywood star also. She's done movies. She's got other movies that are in the works. Hollywood still loves her because she is still, a presence. So yeah, you lose, but champs lose all the time. Sugar Ray Leonard lost, and he's still relevant. People still watch him talk about fights and stuff. No one said there's a loser. You know what I mean? It's just that's how the game works. It's very rare that you can retire on top. Mayweather's the only one that's done it. Think about it. Only one, and he's still gonna do it. McGregor, this is bullshit. McGregor can't hang. If anybody knows about the Nate Diaz fight, he lost. Diaz knocked his shit. And what was that? That was a stand-up game. Because Nate Diaz has great stand-up, and that woke him up. He doesn't have that stand-up, and Mayweather is really gonna wake him up. Because what's gonna happen, because it happens to a lot of MMA guys, is that they get their hands and they start doing their thing, and then when they get caught a few times, natural instinct, do a takedown. Well, you can't do that. What's the option for that now? Back up. And Mayweather will catch you on that backup and put you in a corner, and you're done. So the only way I could see Gregor winning if his training is just him getting punched in the face countless times with jabs, and standing up and not getting that urge to go for a shoot takedown. If he can do that, if that's the way he's been training, then it'll work. But besides that, I don't think it's gonna work. But we're just veering off. But the whole point was it's very rare that somebody retires as a champion and then goes somewhere else.
That's true.
So that's why it's with the Ronda thing, I don't sweat it, because if they get rights to say, hey, listen, UFC, we'll pay you some money. We just want some highlight reels so we can use to package her. Ronda's done a lot for the sport. She made a lot of people rich over there. I don't see why they would argue about it. And that's it. Put a package deal. She was kicking ass. And that's all you need to show. Because think about it. As much as we know about Ronda and stuff, there are still a lot of people out there that do not know about Ronda. They don't know any of that shit. Hell, they don't watch TNA, Impact, Japan, Ring of. They don't watch none of it. They're all WWE. So whatever you expose them to is what they'll know. So if you say, we got this female MMA star coming, former champ, okay, and they show highlight reels of her jumping and catching these arm bars, damn, she's devastating. Damn, oh wow. Oh wait, did I see her in the Expendables? Hey, Jenny, that's that woman from the Expendables. You know what I mean? Was she in? She was in the Fast and Furious. That's right. She was in the Fast and Furious. Wow. Yeah, you know what I mean? They're gonna catch those people.
You know what I will say to that? It was Fast and Furious how she got knocked out too in that last matchup.
You know what? I'd rather it happen that way than long, grueling matches, and then she would have to get submitted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
That was her thing, was submitting people, and that didn't happen. So shit. Everybody's get their time comes. You start getting knocked, you get hit in the head. I mean, when I used to train, I get punched, and after a while, you go numb, and you're like, yo, I could take anything until you're out cold, and you're like, what happened? What happened? Shit just happens. It just happens. And you just move on from it. And mentally, I hope she's okay. And she's accepted the loss and realized that the world doesn't end. Everybody gets caught, and she's still Ronda. She's still the longest running female champ. No one's had it yet as long as she has. She still had an amazing record. Not only just beating everybody, but submitting them with arm bars and telling them, I'm going to beat you with an arm bar. No, you're not. No, you're not. And she would catch them. You know what I mean? It's that's amazing. That's amazing. You know what I mean? She's still relevant, and she still has a physical presence. So she comes in there. I'm telling you, she's going to devastate. And she can go. She can do all her jiu-jitsu. She can do all her submissions, and people will get their mind blown because they're like, wow, this is the real deal. Because, NXT has one like that. They have that one woman with the cornrows that comes out.
Oh,
you
yeah.
seen her? Right? And she comes in, she's jabbing, and she's doing the whole thing, and she's doing the kicks, and she's doing that whole thing. That's her gimmick. She's the MMA star coming in, to wrestling, and she's doing the shoots and all that, and it's working. I think they're going to give her a big push like that. So if you can do that with her, I think if you get a big name, and somebody who's familiar with people and can talk on the mic, it's going to work. I don't see it as a downside. I think it'll work, and they need it.
It's possible.
Well, and somebody named Tessa Blanchard, she was already with NXT for a while.
Yeah, that's Ricochet's woman.
Yeah, Ricochet's girl. Yeah, she was there because I remember they were hyping her up because of her dad, part of the Four Horsemen and everything. And I remember that. And then she just disappeared for a while. Her and Blue Pants. Remember when Blue Pants was around? They both disappeared around the same time. But she can go. She's been doing a lot of shows. As we all know, Ricochet. But that's the thing. It's like this reminds you of like one of those bait and switches. Like it's like, all right, well, we're bringing in Tesla because she's going to get a contract. But then Ricochet's coming. Because I'm sure that's going to be one of the things that they probably did with Ricochet. It's like, well, we want to sign you. Yeah, everybody wants to sign me. But if you sign my girl, that'll make things easier. Then we don't have that separation, plus, family legacy and the business stuff. That's an easy sell right there, So, yeah. But it's going to be interesting to see when they do bring him in, how that works. And that's another one I worry about because he's so good. It's like, oh, man, don't screw him up. Don't put him on if you put him anywhere, if they put him on SmackDown, he will be the star. Don't drop him in the back. Don't put him under a mask and then put him on 205. You know what I mean? Don't do that. If you put him in NXT, throw him straight to the top. You got to respect him like you did AJ Styles. Respect what he's done in the indie and the rest of the world. And I hate saying indie, but it's just the rest of the world. The guy has made it in the world. He's all over the place. He's the only guy in the history that I know of that can do a double moonsault and land it. A double moonsault. That is freaking amazing. You know what I mean? I don't know if they'll ever let him do that in WWE, because of the harm to himself and to the person that he's dropping.
We'll see about that. I think your videos are acting up. Yeah, Dana, you still there?
The whole thing that we talked about on Netflix, and that being a big hit, and a lot of people watching it that usually don't watch wrestling, and are looking for a female wrestling thing. Like, oh wow, that would if that was around.
There's some video issues over there. Technical issues with Google.
Yep.
Wow.
All female, right?
Huh?
I don't know, but we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, there was a little bit of an issue there with the video, but that's all right. We'll move forward. I don't know what's going on with Google tonight.
I feel like Google tonight. What?
Yeah. So we got 3 other topics to get into. Let's talk about this Enzo and Cass heat. Or I don't know if any of this information is legit or if it's a rumor at this point. Okay, first and foremost, we already spoke earlier about Enzo's heat, which is, basically he is not happy about the breakup, and apparently he is in the doghouse now with a lot of the people on the main roster. I believe they said that he got into some issue, and Roman Reigns was responsible for kicking him off one of the buses. There's a lot of different stuff going on with Enzo not being happy about the whole breakup with Cass, and because he does not really know what direction they're going to take his character, which I actually understand because I don't know what direction the character is going either. But then there was this other little news about Big Cass being a huge Trump supporter. And I thought that was a little ridiculous because, Vince McMahon's wife works for Trump. That's why I figured, well, I don't really think it should be a big deal if he is a supporter. I'm pretty sure Vince is a supporter, but apparently he's getting heat backstage because he is a supporter.
Well, you guys got to see it from the wrestlers' point of view. There's a lot of wrestlers there that are coming from various backgrounds, you know, and some people that have just working visas to be here, you know, and I think that's their main issue with Trump and some of the shit that he says. You know, the fact of the lack of respect for women and the whole thing, and it's him as a person. And I always tell people this, like, you know, I know some people that are Trump supporters and I'm like, oh, you just hate him. Like, you know what I'm saying? I haven't liked him since being as a kid. I mean, he's always been a prick to regular people, you know, and like living from, you know, being from New York, you grow up with Trump. It has nothing to do with his politics. It's him as a person, you know, and he's just not a good person. You know, so a lot of people take offense to some of these comments about immigrants and the things that he says, you know, and so when someone says, oh, I support him and I support everything that he says, and I think that was some of the things that he said. It wasn't like some of the things that he supports. It's a lot of the other nasty aspects. Then you offend some people because, like I said, a lot of these people come from different backgrounds. Some people are there in this country and in WWE with working visas. You know what I mean? It's like they're not from here. So it's like a smack in the face to these people, you know, and I could see why a lot of them get upset. But then again, you could also see that WWE is very aware of this, which is why they have not advertised the fact that someone from the WWE Hall of Fame is in the White House. Remember when Linda was running for that, I think it was for the Senate or something in Connecticut, they were constantly hyping that. They were talking about it, you know, and they were like, oh, yeah, we're a strong supporter, you know, go out there and help. With this, they never pushed anything for Trump. They never said, go out there and vote for him. He's a W. When he did that, when he was sending out that meme of him, you know, doing his takedown of the CNN guy and all that, they never said shit about it. You know what I mean? Because they don't want to get involved in that. Because there's a lot of bad press that surrounds Trump.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, that's the thing. People understand, like 3 years ago, the guy was a Democrat. You know, and then he even said, like before this whole thing happened where he got the Republican army, that he would run as an independent if he didn't get it. The man is just out for himself. He's just crazy. So this has nothing to do with political, oh, Republican, Democrat. No, this man is just a nut. You know, and he will run independently as a nut. You know, and people just need to see that. And that this is not about who's better. You know, oh, Republicans better. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You just got to accept, you know, just see it for what it is. You know, you voted for him. Okay, you had your views, but you got to see it for clear as day. The guy's just a nut. He's crazy. He's 70-something years old. Well, he's 70 years old. Think about that. You know, this is an old man just rambling.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it. And that's really what it is. Just an old dude rambling a lot of bullshit. You know, and it's sad that.
Yeah, and I also think he is also controlling your Google video as well. he didn't like what you said, Adam. So, but Dana, did you have anything you wanted to say about this particular issue here with Big Cass?
Yes.
The guys in
Basically,
there's a lot of.
I was just.
Wait. Okay, Adam,
Okay,
you clear now. Yeah, go ahead, Dana.
I don't know. She cut out.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I think that's really what it comes down to. A lot of the guys in the back just disagree with those views, and
so I would really love to know more of what happened. I honestly don't think they're going to say anything about it. I don't know if this is an alleged P.S. Michael Hayes thing where it was reported a while ago when Michael Hayes went on that racist rant about Obama and, you know, how he was ready for, you know, there to be a new kind of power in office. So I don't know exactly the extent of what happened. I don't know the severity of what happened, but I don't exactly see WWE punishing anyone for this. So maybe they're going to either one, sweep it under the rug because at the they are basically in the White House per se, or are they going to address it by having some form of like a fine that has to be paid or a little suspension thing? I don't know. But I don't really see this being any type of a big situation for WWE or for the wrestler.
Yeah.
The wrestler is involved.
Yeah, it didn't lead to a fight, and that's when the WWE upper management usually get involved when there's a fight, like with the whole thing with, what's his name, El Patron. Remember when he like smacked the shit out of the director there, and then when you hear those things, for saying something that's different.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that next.
But besides that, they rarely get involved, and I don't think they're going to get involved in this. I think they don't want anything to do with anything political right now because they just don't want that backlash. Because it's one of those situations. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. If they do say, oh yeah, he said these things, or look, he sent that meme. That's our president. And this and that. Come out there and say, what the hell? How could you support him? And you know what I mean? So, and then if they don't say anything, and then they try to throw it on the rug, but they announce that, then people that approach them, I'm like, oh, what's wrong with you? Why are you not backing your guy? And he's in your whole thing. You know what I mean? So it's better just stay out of it. They don't want to get involved, which is why you will never see. I can tell you this one. I'm pretty sure you will never see someone try to pull a heel or go babyface using anything political while Trump is in office. We'll never see that. We'll never see that.
Semi-political with gender.
Well, gender is just gender. I mean, they're trying to go with the whole Iron Sheik thing, and that got over, and they're trying to get over in India. Money, that's a big money market right there. So that'll work. But I don't see him, if he comes out with like an picture of Trump or something, that's gonna go nuts. I don't think they'll ever do it. Unless it's all part of a story, and then Trump shows up, and then he like spears him at 70 years old or something. Crazy like that.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'll just say, I don't think the WWE will take any action because they don't think they want to be involved in any of this type of stuff. They have to focus on trying to make the product good and for it to actually stay good, and they have some work to do.
They're busy sabotaging themselves, so we'll see.
Sabotage. Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah. So speaking of sabotage, I have to ask this question: what the hell is going on with Del Rio and Paige?
Yo, they're married. Did you know that? They got married in March.
Yeah. I think we all knew that because we saw
a lot of outlets, especially like teams, they were talking about the fiance and this whole thing. No, they legit got married because in that video, that audio we've all heard, she said you're an abusive husband, and I'm like, I thought he was married still in Mexico. I thought that was a whole scandal that they couldn't get married. He was still married. But I think he's still married in Mexico, but that just applies to Mexico and not the U.S. Some weird shit like that, but they got married. So yeah, in March they got married. So there you go. So it's just drama. It's sad. It's sad to see this happen. And man, I feel sorry for her. She got in a bad spot. Everybody's had some horrible relationship, and like shit, man. Good thing I got out of it. Well, she needs to have that moment of damn. Good thing I got out of it. But it hasn't happened yet. And hopefully it'll happen while she's still young, and we don't hear some horror story of her getting super beat up or doing a drug overdose or some shit. And then there's rumors that she said the whole thing about coke and that he's been all coked up, but that she's also on coke because of him. And that and it's like, oh, I guess so. I mean, we all learned that with Chris Rock when he did his stand-up. Remember, it's like, if you're on crack, your partner has to be on crack too. If you're going to church, your partner has to go to church too. So it's the same thing. So maybe they're both doing it, and I hope it just doesn't end up in one of those horrible situations where, it's like she falls off before she ever really took off.
See,
but she's still young. She's like, what, 24, 25?
Yeah, see, the thing is that I hate to say it, but I think it could very well end up like that because it's too much going on with that situation. Obviously, she knows that she's in a really bad relationship and has no desire or even the will to try to get out of it. You saw that the brothers have came out and made statements that this stuff has been going on for a while. But I guess they still can't get through to her to get out of that because they are not with her right now, wherever she's traveling. So,
do you know the story of her mom and her dad? And her mom got married to the guy who was like 50 something. She was like 19 or some shit like that.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
very screwed up family.
yeah, it's very weird and
So here's a question: is all of this going to be in the film that they're working on?
yeah.
That Rock is
Yeah,
working
gotta
on.
be because that's the family. That's how the family started. I mean, it's gotta be. I mean, if they really get dark, the mom had some horrible things happen to her. You know, like rapes and gangbangs and some craziness. Like, I
Whoa.
mean, if they go that far, the mom had a hard life. Mom had a hard life. You know, so if they're doing this film about that family, those things have to come up. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. I mean, unless they try not to bring it up, but there's already a documentary in the UK about that family, and that stuff came up. She was open about it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I just hope things work out for her. You know, I hope that.
And don't forget that Global Force Wrestling did announce on Monday that they did suspend Alberto.
Yeah, which is weird because it's like, all right, he's your champ, and you suspend him. You don't strip him of the title.
The level of attention that would bring, and the backlash you could say of, oh, we're allowing this basically wife beater to still be a part of the roster. Fortunate for either party, but at the same time, you have to protect your asset, and that itself is Global Force. So they're protecting themselves by that.
I think you know, I'm not really sure who made the decision to put the belt on Del Rio, but that was already a bad decision. You know, but I guess they just decided they had to do it. They wanted to do it, so they did it. And now, unfortunately, they have the bad luck of this situation happening now, putting him in the spotlight. You know, so you know, Del Rio can't really talk about. I don't want to hear any more rants from Del Rio talking about the guy with the big nose and no balls at WWE that you know, is causing him all types of issues. You can't talk
That's
about
the alcohol
that.
and the drugs talking. That's just ramblings. You know, they all do it. Kurt Angle did the same ramble when he went to Impact. You know, that Booker T did the same ramble. You know, and then they all eventually come back all happy-go-lucky. I don't think Alberto's gonna come back because I think he's just something else is going on with him.
Oh no, he's done
with his brother and other fights, and always getting in trouble with the law. There's too many other outside interference going on with that. I just hope. Yeah, I just hope it doesn't happen with Paige. I hope eventually things get straightened out, and somewhere along the line she's able to come back. You know, but I don't know. I don't see it happening for a long time.
But I will say this, and you know, I do feel sympathy for Paige as well. It's a horrible situation, but I also have to say this, and I don't really know. Obviously I can't really talk too much because I don't know the situation, but I have to say she has to also want to get out of this relationship because again, look at how everything happened. Before that footage came out, before that video came out, she was talking about, oh, there was some other woman that was involved in the whole exchange, and that was the woman that threw the drink on Del Rio when it was actually her. And then once the footage came out, she said, oh, well, this is what happened. It's stuff happens. I think fights happen in relationships, but you have to know and understand if this guy is putting his hands on you, you got to find a way to get out of that, and you got to try as hard as you can to get out of it.
I'm gonna quote Triple H. You know, you gotta do what's best for business, and best for business is not doing that because that hurts both of them. She knows. She knows if she starts putting blame on him and doing the whole thing, he could lose his job. You know, and right now he's the only one working. She's still recovering from her injury. I don't know if she's collecting a check still. WWE, I'm sure she's probably collecting something, but I mean, she doesn't want to ruin his career. So it's sort of like what happened with the football player who punched that woman in the elevator, his wife.
Oh yeah, Ray Rice. You know? Yep.
Yeah, and she said the same. She was like, "Hey, you know, we had a fight. I said some stuff. Shit happens. You know, let's move on." You know, yeah, I'm sure she was affected, and there's other feelings here, but she knows this is his business. This is what gives them their lifestyle. You know what I mean? It's like you hurt him, you hurt yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those.
But at the same time, I feel that Alberto is sabotaging Paige's career. If you look at everything that has happened to her this year, she had a horrible year. And so when we go about saying, you know, Paige doesn't want to hurt him, at the same time, he's hurting her. So where does that leave Paige?
She needs to wake up herself, though. She's just a young girl right now. You know,
She's very young.
following
She's very lost.
See,
they showed incidents of this before, kind of like throughout, even though it's kind of scripted, but throughout Total Divas, she is an emotional mess.
Yeah.
And a wreck.
Yeah, I remember I saw clips of something. Somebody was posting, like, she's always been like this. And it was like an incident with Road Dogg, and Road Dogg pulling her aside and saying, you need to straighten up. You know, all this could be taken away. You know, you're up there, you know, you're on TV, you're in a great spot, you're making good money. There's tons of girls that would love to be in that spot. And she was like, yeah, whatever. You know, it's like, but she's still young. People don't understand. It's like she's in her early 20s. You know, there's a lot being tossed at her at that age. You know, and then I'm sure she already has plenty of money. I mean, you're working all year round doing all this stuff, and I'm sure she has a lot of money. And then when something like this happens, you feel untouchable. You know, and wait till things settle down and this guy fizzles out, and then the money starts drying up, and the interest in her starts drying up. That's when it hits the fan. That's when it's like, oh shit, let me go get my you know, True Hollywood Story special on and talk about my life. You know. And then that's when the sad story comes out in WWE 24 when they try to bring her back. If they give a shit, they may not give a shit. She really has not made a full impact on them enough to you know, justify such a comeback. I mean, why? Why would they want to bring her back now? You know what I mean? Like, or when everything's clear, why? There's really no reason. So we may never see her come back.
Bring her back as a form of like a handout.
Yeah, it could be, but that's what I'm saying. It would have to be for some other gain, though, whether it's something to do with her parents and their wrestling promotion, or for that movie that they're sort of partnered with, you know. And I think The Rock is funding the whole thing. I think it was his movie production studio with, you know, and his ex-wife that are doing that movie about Paige's family. You know, but it's like we may have seen the last of her on that level, and it is what it is. I mean, the last thing we want, though, is to hear of like a Queen Elizabeth situation, you know? And it's quite possible it could happen, you know? She could be in a lot of pain. We don't know from her surgery. We don't know the side effects. And she's mixing painkillers with drinking, and obviously she's drinking, you know, and other things. You know, she could just pass away and something horrible could happen. Sad.
Yeah, it's not a good situation. And yeah, it's been a real bad year for her. All that has happened, but we definitely hope the situation gets better, that she is able to escape the situation. Obviously, Del Rio is a big issue, but I don't know. There's not really much else.
You know what it sort of reminds you of? It reminds you of China and X-Pac. Remember China and X-Pac, and they had their whole thing that was always, everybody knew that they were drunk and they were doing drugs and traveling around. Then they did a porno and they were doing all this craziness. And then she was on a reality show and she was trying to break up with him, and then he would pop up on the reality show. It was so weird, you know. But it was one of those like very dramatic, very crazy type of relationships. And now we're seeing that with Paige and this one.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't anticipate a good ending to any of this. I would love to see it end on good terms where she gets out of this, but I don't think, you know, this is going to leave an impact for, you know, moving forward for both of them. I think.
I just want to know how it started. How did this start with, you know?
Well, she received news that her uncle was gravely ill, and that they wanted her to come by to be at the bedside. And Alberto basically threw a fit and said, screw him, you're with me. And it ended up being an argument between the two. And it was alleged that she threw a drink on him. And he went and called the police saying that it was assault.
But even before that, was he always a prick? Like when he was in WWE and he had his own car coming out, remember, and the whole thing. Yeah. Was he a prick then? You know what I mean? Yeah.
I believe so.
You know, because it's like I feel like we didn't start seeing this other side of him until he came back to WWE after hitting that guy that said that racist remark about this is your job to clean up or some shit.
Well, this is when we wonder when he probably started using drugs.
See, that's it. So at some point he snapped, and you know, I mean, so crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and then even if she did try to come back, and there's still all the whole issue of all the videos that she had leaked out with like the sex and all that stuff. That's still another thing they would have to try to clear up.
That to me, you know, again, I know we said for the most part about Del Rio is a big issue, but that, you know, again, and even we had this discussion already on one of our previous episodes.
Yeah.
That whole thing with the video situation, though, she has to be held accountable for some of that because she knew that they were filming. You know,
Well, she
when
kept
she
them.
did this.
Yeah, she kept
Yeah.
them, so she knew.
Yeah, so she has to be, you know, I understand you can say innocent, but listen, the video should not have gotten out. That's for certain. But you knew that you were being filmed and you still had possession of those videos. It's always a guarantee that something like that could happen if in that situation. But it's unfortunate. Like I
Should
said,
have hid those better, put them in her own private collection somewhere, you know.
or delete them.
Or take them offline. I think that's how they got it, right? Wasn't it like her cloud account or something like that they hacked into?
They said cloud, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Was the one who
Oh.
Brad was the one who released everything. So
No. What? Brad Maddox did that?
that was the alleged rumor, was that he released everything.
Because he changed his name or something. They said he went online and changed his name. He didn't want anything to do with that. You know?
I don't want anything to do with something that I released and I'm trying to set someone up.
Yeah, he doesn't want you said he changed his name. That's good, but
online, like he didn't want anything to do with this, so I don't see why he would post that and not take credit for it. Like I think this was something that because she wasn't the only one. There was a bunch of other people. Remember Charlotte Flair got her stuff hacked. There was people that are just purposely trying to get into their accounts so they can find, you know, dirt on them.
But Charlotte Flair was painful.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Well, yeah, it's too much. Well, we'll see. We'll just have to say we hope Paige gets out of this situation. But I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see how it pans out. So, any final thoughts before we move on to our final topic?
Nope. Just call Ayanla. Get some help.
Okay, so here we are. You already spoke about this earlier, Adam, about the Kurt Angle situation. Is very interesting on Raw. So by the time, you know, I believe in about 48 hours, we will know exactly what all of this Kurt Angle storyline is with the secrets, the text messaging, so on and so forth. So I have a theory as to what I think it all is, but I wanted to get both your theories first on the matter. So, Adam, you can go first.
I think it's Dixie. I think it's going to be something with Dixie. You know, the fact that she even popped up on that 24 and they even mentioned her, you know, I think it's going to be linked to that. It's also that Raw is in Nashville, which is where she's from and where she's relevant, you know, so she will get a reaction from that crowd, you know, in that location. And I don't think some people are like, oh, it's going to be some kind of gay angle with him. No, because he said this would be career ending. And if you say that, then you're implying that being gay is career ending in WWE. And that's not what they want to say. They don't want to promote that, you know, that, oh, well, being gay is wrong. There's no way. So that scraps that right there, you know, and I think it's going to be something that they're going to tie in with Triple H because, as most people know, they're trying to do a Triple H Kurt Angle match at like WrestleMania or something, one of the big events. So they're probably going to have it where it's a blackmail situation. You know, and he's going to have to come clean and he's going to say that, yeah, he's been having an affair and the whole thing. But it's going to be something either that or it's going to be something even sillier than that. And we're thinking too much into it. It's going to be a real cheesy story or something. But I don't see it being anything too crazy. You know, who was it? Somebody else was saying that they was going to say that there was an illegitimate child and that it was going to be one of the members of American Alpha. It's going to be Gable. Yeah, it was like it's gonna be Gable, and I'm like, I don't know how old Gable is, but still, it doesn't make sense. And you know, you're gonna tell me the whole time because he also wrestled in the Olympics, and no, none of that makes sense. You know, he would have, Kurt would have got involved. That's a stupid gimmick. That's what I'm saying. If one of those things comes out, then it's like this was a waste. You know, it's not gonna happen. But that's it. I mean, I think it's gonna be something with that. But I'm still surprised that Dixie's even involved in any of this. I mean, she's the reason why Impact, WWE didn't get Impact for the network. Because remember when they were in financial trouble before she sold everything to that owl company, she was putting it up for sale, and they came in. WWE came in, and for a while was trying to buy the footage. They wanted the back catalog. They didn't want the Federation, the Impact Wrestling. They just wanted the footage. They were like, listen, we'll buy all this. You can keep doing what you're doing with the money that we give you. And she refused to do it. And to see that they're still working together on this, and I don't know. I'm baffled. I don't get it. Is she just a talent now? Is it like a Eric Bischoff type of thing? Are they purposely doing this for the shock value? Because that was what the whole thing with Eric Bischoff. Because I mean, they just brought him in just to rub it in everyone's noses. Like, look, we beat our competitor, and now we have one of them. And remember, eventually, when they were tired of him, they threw him in the dumpster, and he went out. Remember that? The dumpster came down to the ring, and they just dumped him in there and out with the trash. It was just embarrassing, and for him to collect the check while being embarrassed. So I wonder if it's the same type of thing. It's like, yeah, they're done, and yeah, they pretty much are done. They had to change their name twice. Now it's going to be under the GFW. So it's okay to do this, and just to show that we've won in that battle without really pointing it out, Dixie Carter's here. If you know who she is, then you know what we're talking about, and you know that we beat them. Just another one. Just another one that and people are like, oh, they were never really competition. No, they weren't, but Impact tried to be competition. Remember, they tried to do the Monday Night Wars. They tried to go live. They tried to start their own NWO thing. They were with Hulk Hogan and everybody. Remember? They tried to do that. They kept saying, oh, yeah, the Monday Night Wars are back, and we're going to go head-to-head against Raw live. They tried it. So they started throwing the first punches. So I'm still surprised. Still surprised this is happening, but I think they're going to keep going with it, especially with the whole Nashville thing, that being there and Dixie being from Nashville. I think that's going to be the weird storyline. And if anyone saw the 24, he's all about his family life, his family. Oh, my new wife, and the kids and the whole thing. So then, yeah, I could see how this could be a big story. Like, yes, but don't tell me, yes, this is it. And then, yes, not only were we having an affair, but we also have an illegitimate child in Gable, and then he comes up, Daddy. No, you do all that straight up cheese. No, so I'm not,
You're
but,
right.
But you know what? It's got people talking, and I will tune in. Not like I wasn't anyway, but still, I'll tune in just to watch that to see where it goes.
Absolutely.
So and that's what they need. They need a lot of these like what the hell's going on type of angles. And that goes back to the Attitude Era because there was a lot of over the top stuff that no one knew what was happening. And anything can go. And we saw a lot of that happening when the Wyatts showed up, and they were doing weird, freaky shit every week. And then that fizzled out. I mean, at one point they talked about they were going to have a Sister Abigail. And then that got scrapped. But man, when they introduced on NXT Nikki Cross, right? I was like, she would have been the perfect Sister Abigail. She's all crazy and stuff. I'm like, this would have been awesome if she was part of the family, if they did have something like that. But it didn't happen. It'll never happen.
Yeah, it's all about sanity. So Dana, how about you? What are your thoughts?
Dixie Carter is Sister Abigail. Joking. But everything that Adam said is 1,000% what I agree with. I see this as being basically a whole trash dumpster situation where TNA was very, very vocal. And I remember it being to the point where it was a turnoff. They was very vocal about their hatred towards WWE. And basically it was a show where every ex-WWE wrestler came on the show just to air their grievances.
They would shoot a promo, and then they would win the title. That's how it worked. Oh, even Christian, remember? Christian showed up, did a shoot promo about WWE, and then won a title.
I hate you, WWE. Look what you've done to me. And so I just basically do see this as being a trash dumpster situation. I don't see this as any illegitimate child. I think that would be really stupid of them to do that, especially after that documentary that we watched on Sunday. I'm not sure. I forgot. But anyway, that documentary that we previously just saw, and Kurt Angle was basically legit bawling his eyes out about how much he loves his family. and how much, you know, he's going to be there for them and he's the greatest father in the world and how much they mean to him, unless they purposely put that in there to make it a illegitimate love child situation, which I just don't see happening. It's kind of really disrespectful for them to do that. I don't put it past WWE, but I don't want that to happen. But yeah, I just see this as being Dixie Carter's going to show up. She's going to be like, remember me, who I am, and how I made you really popular, and how you came back and you shocked the world. And basically, he's going to fire her and, I don't know, have Roman run her down in the middle of the parking lot. But that, I think, will be the extent of everything. I think it's just one of those little ratings pop. And that's it. It's one and done, one show, and that's it.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, some people are like, oh, it's going to be a relationship with Stephanie. They wouldn't go there.
Oh gosh.
They definitely wouldn't go there.
Wasn't there one, though? There was one, like, years ago.
Yeah, and see, that right there, that is exactly why I think it could be Stephanie. Now, let me explain. First and foremost, the point Adam made is, that sounds perfectly fine. Yes, it is in Nashville. Dixie, I could definitely see that happening in the blackmail thing. Obviously, the blackmail is part of it because the person knows and is threatening to get the information out. This is why Kurt Angle wants to say it. But the whole thing is that, you know, the storyline they had with Stephanie in the past involving Kurt Angle also involved Triple H. And it was a love triangle where in the end she chose Triple H. So if there was something going on between her and Kurt Angle, you know, when he said that, you know, that he feels as though his job is in jeopardy, the only reason they would fire him, I don't see the whole Dixie Carter thing being an issue as to why they would fire him. But if he is messing with Stephanie, oh, you best believe Triple H, that's the feud right there. And that also would be the motive to want to fire him because that's about woman.
That's the owner's daughter. She can make sure he doesn't get fired. That's what Scrap said, because it's she has authority, so she was part of the authority. You know, she has that pull. So I don't see that. I think the whole thing of what he said in the documentary, that he would never lie to them, that he's cleaned up and stuff. Yeah, and that's why I think the whole of him cheating, because they don't want to say that he's on drugs again. Doing it, but it's like, hey, you said you were on a straight and narrow. You said all the stuff about your family. Dixie, come out here. Tell us what you've been doing. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, well, I've been doing a little and you know, and yeah, things just got a little crazy. You know, it's like, oh, you know, that's the only other thing. And then they were like, why would this come out? Why would this come out? And it's like, and then Triple H comes out. He's like, you know why it came out, and there you go. And then that'll lead up to that fight. And then that'll help during the time to sell video games. Because remember, he's the special character. And they do this new tie-in now ever since the whole Sting thing, you know, where it's like, oh, we have to tie in a match leading up to it. Because then that way it helps sell the game. They did with Ultimate Warrior. Of course, they did with the Goldberg recently, you know. And now we got the Kurt Angle. You know, and now Kurt Angle's that guy. So.
I do have a comment to make on that also. If they are going to tie in this whole match thing, based on the WWE 2K18 campaign, that would mean Seth Rollins or Kurt Angle, because Seth Rollins in the storyline goes to the place where all the memorabilia is at, pretty much damages, vandalizes. And
man, I want to see an edited version where he lifts the hood up and you see him, and then Randy Orton comes out and then gives him the RKO. Because Randy Orton already did this gimmick. Okay? Randy Orton already destroyed. Remember the Legend Killer? He's already done it. So I wanted to see someone. You remember when they were doing all those RKO videos? Where he was just running out and just RKing on people? I wanted to see that, you know.
That would have been perfect.
Yeah, it would have been perfect because, like, yo, been there, done that. You know, this is. And that's, you know what, I'm scared about this game because they have not shown anything about this. That's a whole other topic, but they have not shown it. Usually they show some gameplay at E3. They do something, nothing, which tells me that this is just going to be a hash of the last version.
Yep.
You know, they have not shown anything. And if this is, this is the only thing you're hyping, a damn Kurt Angle DLC, and you're not showing anything else. Come on now. Something's wrong.
You know, it's funny you mentioned this because I actually saw, right before we started recording, I did see a video because, you know, they released a dev video 2 days ago. The dev video is just the dev talking about, yes, the game is going to have this, it's going to have that, but there's no gameplay, nothing.
Nope.
So
and that's never a good sign. We learned that from the NBA Live days. You know, when they're like, "Oh yeah, it's going to be this, do that." It's like, "All right, when is it coming?" It'll come. You'll see it when it's out. No, no, and it's because they knew. They knew. You know, and I have a feeling we're in the same boat with this because it's saying all this stuff. You know, I don't see any gameplay. I don't see anything. You're not really showing anything. You know, and if they don't have, you know, NXT Aleister Black, I'm telling you, I'm a big fan of this dude. I know he probably won't.
I don't think they will. Unfortunately, they should. They should, but
they won't. They won't. I know they won't.
There's going to be something that's out of date. I know they had read the feature list, and I saw that this would be the most up to date WWE game. I don't know about that.
They say that shit every year. You know what? I missed the showcase mode. I didn't realize how much I missed it until 2K17 came out, and it felt incomplete. When I was like, all right, I have to do the career mode, and again, career mode is a grind. You're doing like 50, 60 matches just to win a TAM belt, and then it just doesn't do anything. Then you have to go and start all over when you go somewhere else, when that's really not how it works in the WWE.
Exactly. And you know what? Now that you mentioned that, I do have to say this very quickly because you mentioned the career mode. I actually played some of the career mode the other day, and up to the point where I'm trying to get the United States title. So what I did is, I had a triple threat match that I won on the card, and then what I saw that the main event of that particular pay-per-view was John Cena defending the title against Kalisto, which is very questionable because John Cena is U.S. champion. So what I decided to do was, well, let me interfere in the match. So I interfered in the match before Kalisto could ever come out, beat down John Cena, and then they had the whole graphic animation of me winning the title. I was like, oh, this is awesome. So after
how did you win the? Wait, you won the title?
Yeah. See, because they said, well, because he interfered in the match and it was a title match, I guess they decided, well, let's give him the title. So I want to.
I want to try that. That must have been a glitch because I've interfered in title matches.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing. See, it was a glitch because after they showed me winning the title, I go back still, ranked number 5 on the list and no title. So see, shit like that better not be in 2K18. That is absolutely ridiculous.
They need to fix that and then the whole thing of like, T-shirt sales, and that's how you build up your rankings so that way people care. You got to change your shirt. No, I was Pentagon Jr. I do not want to change my shirt. I don't want to change anything. Let me just be me. No. And it's like, well, this is why you're not ranking up faster. I'm like, I'm kicking ass. I'm undefeated. You know what I mean? I'm playing dirty. I'm doing everything. It just takes too long. It's a grind. So then when you go outside of that, then you have the WWE Universe mode, which is just free play pretty much and like this open story, and that's awesome. But it still felt empty. You know what I mean? It's like it felt empty. And it's like that showcase mode really makes a difference. And they don't need to keep going back to the old days. Hey, Seth Rollins did a lot. If they incorporate another version of that, but like when he was doing the whole thing with the NXT and he moved up and he did the whole, the Shield, if they can do that, bring a showcase mode with him. Because what I heard before was that they couldn't get any good material or anything for Brock Lesnar, so that's why they just scrapped it. And they were like, all right, forget it this year. We don't have time to do all that. Well, then you hopefully have time to do it with Seth because they're saying that it's a story thing driven about him, and his journey, destroying all those. Well, that was the whole thing about him destroying all the legends. Yeah. And it's that it's his time and it's like his story, so they're not saying story mode, but they're saying his story. He's the man.
So already you're saying that the rebuild, reclaim, all of that thing that Seth Rollins used now, so they won't be able to pull that off because.
Yeah. So that's it. I mean, the only feature that I still like, and it's still my favorite feature, and is the creative wrestler mode with the communities. The fact that I can go in there. There's some amazing creators out there, and they spend a lot of time. And I can build my own shows. So I'll build a whole Lucha Underground show. I'll build a Ring of Honor show. I'm telling you, if you look at my thing, if I ever do a live stream, you'll be like, yo, I got every league. When I do my WWE universe, it really is the damn universe of wrestling. You got people from all over. I got Kenny Omega running in on a Pentagon Junior match. I got bananas. People watching this. I'm like, yo, what? Your game is broken. It came with a bunch of people that aren't in the WWE. In some cases, I just start turning off because that's what you could do when it's like, oh, you unlock this Hall of Fame version of, Steve Austin. Nope, just turn off. Never using him. Never using him. Nope, don't need this dude. Nope, turn everybody off because I want it my way. And I want it in my mind, in my fantasy world, that wrestling would be like an NFL or something, or more like a FIFA where, all these leagues can compete and stuff. And we have Champions League and just have something like that. That'd be awesome where all these wrestlers that get involved. There's multiple titles, multiple shows, people running in. It's chaos all the time.
Yeah.
And that's it. I spent most of my time just doing that. Creating stables and doing a whole thing. And then, I look at the time, an hour passed. Did I play a match? Nope. I have not played anything. But I spent all this time creating stories and putting things together and stuff. That's my favorite mode. But I like the story modes. I like the challenges, like when they had that with the Bret Hart in 2K16.
Oh, yeah.
All the challenge, and then you have to hit those certain things and stuff. Yeah, some of it was a pain in the ass, It's all about QTEs. I hated that shit. But still, the story mode I like.
Yeah.
And it's a challenge and it's fun. But damn, I don't know. Yeah, we strayed big time. But yeah, I just hope that it works out. And we'll back to the linking it up. I mean, the whole point of all of this with Kurt Angle, I think, is just for the game. They're gonna keep hyping up the game, and this is how it helps. By advertising the fact that he's in it and he has to do a match. He has to be in a match.
Yeah, he does.
Because that's how they're going to sell it, because then it's going to make you want to play as Kurt Angle in a match.
Mm-hmm.
So. But there's a guy already doing, who does the Angle Slam? There's somebody doing the Angle Slam now. Shit, who's doing it? There's a guy in the WWE, I think it's in NXT, and he does the Angle Slam. And they were announcing it as the Angle Slam until Kurt Angle showed up. And now they just...
Yeah, see, they ain't
Yeah,
going to do that now. We ain't gonna be doing that no man now.
Damn,
It won't be the name now.
It'll come back to me. But there was a guy who was in NXT who was pulling it off. We'll see
about that.
We'll see. Oh, Fire Pro Wrestling is out.
Cool.
For those watching that, that's out there on Steam, and that's killing it too. That's another one that has an awesome create mode. There's already like over 1,000 wrestlers on that create mode. It's crazy.
Yeah.
$20. You go out there, you get it. Use your PS4, Xbox One controller, play that game. But it's also coming to PS4. It's not coming to Xbox though. It's coming to PS4. Yeah, and that people get upset by that. But that's Japanese favoritism up there. So
well, we definitely will have it on PS4. We'll definitely talk about that on a future show.
That's coming.
So
Dana, do you play these wrestling games?
I do play these wrestling games, and
do you create yourself? Do you create yourself in them?
I did, but I'm still salty about the ban that they put for people who created the Chris Benoit characters.
They put a ban on that?
Yeah, that was a while ago. They banned them after they uploaded a picture of Chris Benoit.
Now, was it like a bloody picture, like him all like?
No,
then that's not fair because I saw a bunch of Kerry Von Erichs. And that guy put a shotgun to his head, and
so what about Hogan? Is Hogan still banned also, or have they now? You see Hogan creator wrestlers in the games.
I see Hogan as being there somehow. I see him slowly coming back to WWE to begin with.
Okay. He'll be at WrestleMania, no doubt.
A year or two.
He'll be at WrestleMania. I wouldn't doubt it. He's not going to get booed.
So just one quick question, to jump on to 2K18. Dana, are you going to pick up WWE 2K18 on the Nintendo Switch?
That's cute.
Man, that's a smack in the face. Smack in the face. It's an afterthought.
It's terrible. It's disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, the feature, I guess we'll know exactly what features are missing whenever they decide.
It's going to be missing a lot of shit. When they said some of the features are coming to 2K18 Switch, I'm like, do you hear yourself? You said some of the features from 2K18 are coming to Switch. Some of the that's a different game then. Why don't you just call it something? Call it wrestling. Just call it something else. Don't call it 2K18 if not all the versions, all the features from 2K18 are coming over. FIFA's got this problem right now too because FIFA 2018 is coming. It's 18 is coming to the Switch, but they already announced it's not going to be on a Frostbite engine and it's not going to have the story mode. The journey, which is the key feature. Yeah, the key feature that everybody likes from 17 is not coming over. So if you're not going to be in the same engine and you're not going to be using the new story mode, then you're really not FIFA 18. You're just a soccer game on the Switch.
Yeah, so in other words, get the game on PS4, Xbox One, or PC.
Right.
Yeah,
but
and
for Nintendo Switch, they did announce that My Career will be on it.
Well, I want to see what features exactly and what's missing. If it's just a few match types, then
create a wrestler, perhaps.
Oh, that kills it. That kills it. If that's not in there, that kills it. You know, and that is sad because I mean that's the key feature that everybody wants. Everybody loves that feature. Create a wrestler, create the modes, do the whole thing. If you're taking all that out, and the sad thing is, if they take all that out and then they release it at the same retail price, you know. Oh, yeah. But this is, I brought this up on the throwdown and it applies to this. It's like, this is going to be the downfall of the Switch. If they start hashing out all these knockoff versions of games from other consoles, people will wise up. These kids, these new marketeers, these people that are jumping in and getting this, I'm like, yeah, I'm great. I'm taking this. It's awesome. It's a console. It's also on the go. And then when they're messing with their buddies and they're like, yeah, their buddies saying, yeah, I got this new career mode. Did you do that? I got this level. No, I didn't got that on my version. Well, then you don't got the real version. Well, what do you mean? It's the same thing. It's 18. This is it. No. You know what I mean? And they're going to wise up and they're going to realize, damn, every freaking multiplayer game that I get, that's a multi-platform game that I get, it's a downgraded version. Forget about the graphics. We're talking about features and stuff. If that's not in my version, why the hell am I getting it? And why did I pay full price for that shit? Tell me it's just because it's on the go. Come on now.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
That is not enough to sell me on it because it's taking a half-ass game on the go. And I don't want a half-ass game on the go.
I agree.
I want the full version. I want what Turbo Graphics did with the Turbo Express, where I can take the damn game out of the Turbo Graphics, put it in my Turbo Express. That's identical, 100% the same freaking experience on the go. Give me that. If you can't give me that, I don't want it. You know, and that's it. That's why I don't care what anybody says. And they're like, oh, well, switch it. I just stop make up excuses for it. It's not what you want, and you know it. You know, when you need a separate app on a phone to start chatting with people like it's the 1960s, you're bullshit. You know what I mean? Things have evolved. We could add different things. They can have a headphone jack port. What the? You know, it's man, I think this is a test. This was a test version. We'll see a better Switch later. You know, there'll be another.
I don't see the game full price though.
You know, I hope not.
No, that would be an insult to everything, and it just doesn't make any sense for it to be a full price, especially when you could just get it on the 4 and the 1.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
I think that's the thing. I looked up. I think FIFA was full price too. I think they already did it, and I think they'll probably try it. They probably will do that because there's a lot of people that don't know. Like we know.
Yeah.
You know, because we're into this, but a lot of people that don't know, that are like, holy shit, the new game's coming out. Okay, you just automatically think, oh, well, if it's 2K18 and it says available for the PS4 Switch, it's going to be the same product. Why wouldn't it? That's false advertising. That's straight up false advertising. You know? But you wouldn't know unless you talk to a buddy who has it on a PS4 or on Xbox. You know what I mean? So if you're just a casual gamer who's into stuff and you get this wrestling game on the Switch because that's the new thing, it's portable, it's hot, you get it, and then you start talking about it, and then your buddy starts talking about, yeah, I got that on Xbox or a PS4. It's like, oh yeah, so-and-so mode is great. And you're like, I don't have that. That's their first wake-up call, like, holy shit, I just got ripped off. I just got a half-ass version of something. I didn't even know that. You know what I mean? Like with the FIFA thing, they actually had to put it down in like fine print. Not running on the Frostbite engine does not have the journey mode. You know what I mean? That's like, then why is this even called 18? Just call it FIFA. You know, and people are like, oh well, they have to. No, because they did that with the Vita. When the Vita first launched, FIFA was one of the supporters of it. They're like, you know what? We're gonna put a soccer game on it. They didn't call it FIFA 13 or anything. They eventually released one. They called it FIFA Soccer. Basically, soccer game on your Vita. Play it. What do you think? You know what I mean? Just to see if people. That's it, and that's what they should call this WWE Switch. You know what I mean? Because it's not going to be everything you want. This is just so you know.
Also, don't forget the issue that there are no Switches available, basically, unless you are willing to shell out $600.
Yeah, that's the whole other thing. That's why I laugh when I see these things that come up on my phone. It's like, oh, Switch is now available on Amazon. And I was like, oh, let me see. I click and I see $500. No, it's not. That is not. Though, with a bunch of other crap that I don't want. Like a while ago, I saw it, and when it was regular price, and I'm like, I don't see a need to get this. Like, there's nothing on it that clicks in me. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't see it. I feel like it's still old technology, and people are just wowed on the fact that it's just a mobile device. People like to carry shit with them. You know, we all like to have new gadgets and stuff. You know, and I was like, oh wow, I would love to have a tablet with controllers on the side, because that's what that is. You know, and it's in Nintendo's world. Okay. But you know what? It's not giving me what I really want. What I really want from that device. What I want is the whole entire catalog of Nintendo games on there. You know, maybe added for that within that Nintendo service, but have them all on there. I mean, I want their own trophy or achievement system. Something that's cataloging my achievements of Mike Tyson's Punch Out and making it to Tyson. Something that's counting all this stuff. You're not giving me any of these things. You're not giving me anything new. You know what I mean? And it's like, and that's the problem. And it's like, oh, well, it's great. No, it's not. You know, and they'll abandon it like they did with the Wii U, like they did with the 3DS, like they just did with the new 3DS. You know what I mean? They don't give a shit. They'll spit something out, and I wouldn't be surprised if next year we see a new version of the Switch. And that one will probably have the headphone jack and have the internet and all the other things. And then all the early adapters will be like, oh, it's Nintendo. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't know why people put them on a high horse. I don't get it. You know what I mean? I was like, obviously no one's ever read the book Console Wars. Maybe they need to wait for the movie, because then they'll see how evil Nintendo is. Because Nintendo don't love you.
I've read it.
Yeah, then you read it, then you know they're evil. Those motherfuckers, they're vicious.
And this is why I also wonder why WWE is partnering with Nintendo, also based on the fact that their games are not very cost effective. You're going to have a decline in sales either way by joining Nintendo.
I think this was something more with 2K doing it as opposed to WWE. I think it was more like, all right, 2K has the right to put it on all these platforms, right? WWE just has to approve it, but they don't have to put any money behind it. And I think this was just 2K saying, hey, listen, we partnered with Nintendo. We guaranteed we'll give them a certain amount of games. We think we can hash out a BS version. You know, we can probably make some money. What do you think? You know, whatever. Let's just make some money, because that's what it is. It's a bullshit version. It's a half-ass. When they advertise 2K18, even on the commercials, it says PS4, Xbox One. No mention of damn Switch. This is like one of those afterthoughts where a guy in the back was like, "Yo, we could take this, that, and we could squeeze it on that little disc. I think we could do it. Make it happen, Jim. Let's do it." And that was it. I think that's what this shit is. Just to try to squeeze. People will read it. They'll come out. It'll probably get some bad reviews, and then they'll just go under the radar as if it never happened.
Yeah. No. Well, we'll see.
Like for Seth Rollins to have that little video of like, oh, holding a Switch. Oh, what are you playing? Oh, the new WWE. No, you're not. You're not playing shit on there. I mean, don't give me that crap. Oh, I'd be surprised if you're even in that damn game. You know what I mean? It's like, there was a game, I forgot what I played one time, where one of the guys on the front of the box wasn't even in the damn game. You know, I'm like, we'll see. We'll see what happens with this. You know, but I don't see it getting to that point. But the Switch is not on there for me. It doesn't scratch that itch. It's not with the Vita. You know, the Vita is special. The Vita, think about that. It's like, till this day, it links up with your console. You can remotely play on it. You know, you can earn trophies and stuff. You really feel like you're part of that ecosystem still while you're on the go. Your friends list is still there. I can do a live chat with my friend who's on a PS4 while I'm on my Vita playing a completely different game. You know what I mean? It's like, it's sad that it fell apart the way it did, you know, and it's just, but I mean, with the tech that's behind it is amazing. You know, it's an amazing device. It's just sad. You know, and then I don't know if they'll ever make another one, but you know, and that was another thing. I mean, there was no WWE game on that. And I was looking forward to that. I was like, oh damn, there's definitely gonna be one on here. Nope. The only thing I had was a throwback version of WWE All Stars. The PSP, but and I love that with Bone Crusher. Oh man, love Bone Crusher.
But I also wonder one thing as well. Their mobile game, WWE Supercard, is still very popular. And so I wonder if they thought in their mind that they could capitalize on, say, another mobile type game by having it go to the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
2K18. So I wonder if that was one of the major moves as to why they would do that.
People like card games, and card games work great on phones. That's one thing I noticed.
A mobile game.
Yeah.
And the Nintendo Switch is mobile now. So by that happening, I wonder in their mindset, was they like, oh, we can replicate the same popularity and the same sales?
I don't know, because if that was the case, it would have made one for 3DS. There's a lot more people that have 3DS.
Right, but the Switch is the most popular thing that you can't get your hands on it. Everybody's talking about it. And then, because of the Mario Odyssey thing, it really kind of made it very, what's that thing? Anticipated.
Yeah, it's a hot item.
So I wonder, So I wonder, are they trying to capitalize on that buzz? Because no one's really talking about 3DS right now.
I think we're looking too much into it on WWE's end. I don't think they give two shits. I think it's all 2K that's saying, hey, we can put this on this platform. Another platform, make it so. We don't have to do anything. You're paying us for the license, so whatever. Do you. That's it. I think that's what it comes down to. And that's it. But I just don't see it. I mean, we'll see what happens when it comes out, but I don't see WWE really hyping that up. They're going to hype the game, but they're going to hype the best version of that game. Hype it with the version that we see on Xbox One.
PlayStation 4. Yeah.
Those are the ones that they're going to hype. We're not going to see why, because it's going to look far worse than what we see on the consoles on the new one. It's going to be the downgraded version, and people will be like, what the hell is this? Oh, it's Nintendo pulling a Nintendo Fast one on us. It's like, oh, look, you got it on here. And a glimpse of like, wow, this is 1080p. Wow, this is fucking 480. Wait, what did I just see? What was that? Don't worry about that. It's there, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'd be amazed if that thing comes out swinging and a winner. If it comes out where it has the community and it has, all the features in the story, and it is the whole game all crushed in it. And I hate that excuse. These Nintendo apologists are like, oh, well, it's got to fit all on a memory card, a little card. Whose idea was that then? Whose idea? That was Nintendo's damn idea to put everything in a little damn card. You know what I mean? It's like, whose idea was it to have these damn memory cards and a small version of a memory card in the day? That was Nintendo's idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't keep making excuses for them. I don't understand why anyone gives a shit to care so much about this company and not trying to hurt them. You have to call them out on their bullshit, or else they don't fix their bullshit. It's like that with anything else. It's like that with what we're talking about with wrestling and TV shows. It's like that with movies, like that with cars and clothes. You call these companies out on the bullshit so that way they know, wow, they're not just sheep. These people actually know. They know what we do. Oh, you call us our bad. Okay, now we'll start making some fixes, and we'll give you what you want. I mean, we see it with video games all the time. Next, patch after patch after patch, and they're trying to fix and give people what they want because people are vocal. You have to be vocal and call the shit out as you see it. You don't do it, they get away with it. They keep doing it.
That's true.
If people didn't go up and start voicing their opinion about wrestling and this and that and how they feel, then changes wouldn't be happening. We don't get everything we want. Roman Reigns is still on fucking TV all the time. But we get other things that we want, because of the internet. We got the Hardys. The Hardys are there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's the same shit. You keep calling out Nintendo on it. Hey, this audience that you keep saying that you love so much, you're penny pinching because you keep making them buy the fucking old version of a game that they already bought from you. So many people and myself, you buy all these old games for the 3DS and stuff in their virtual console. How do you're gonna tell me you don't see my account? You don't see all the shit that I already bought? And now I log in with my same information and you tell me I have to rebuy this stuff? You know what I mean? That's a scam. That's a clear scam. And there's so many people okay with doing that. They're like, yeah, this is fine. It's like, you know what? You say it's fine here, but you don't say it's fine when it's your phone. You don't say it's fine when it's your iPhone or your Android because you don't have that problem. When you get a new phone and you log in your account, all those apps you purchase all re-download. Unless there's some version issue where it's scrapping, but majority of the time they all cross over. They're all there. You don't have to do it. And now imagine if every time you got a new phone, you had to rebuy everything. And that's what they pull. They do that shit all the time. They're not getting with the program. They're not listening and seeing how. See, Microsoft wised up. We called them on their bullshit from the 360 to Xbox One. Xbox One went in a poopy hole, and they're like, yo, we screwed up. We're fixing it. Backward compatible is here. Oh, when we make all other games, everything's going to work. All those other games will carry over. We're never going to disconnect. We're never going to make you have to buy another old game or any of that shit. Because they wised up, because people were vocal. And how do you get vocal? Be like, they don't listen to me. They listen to me. You know how they listen? Take your wallet, put it back in your pocket, and walk out the damn store. Next time you go on Amazon, don't click on that. Go get yourself a grill or a t-shirt or something. Don't buy their shit. You don't buy their shit when they do their fiscal year and they start looking at finances and they see they're not making the money and they're like, damn, where did we go wrong? Then they go tell Bob to go on the internet. Bob starts typing, why do you hate Nintendo? And then they'll find a stamp form that you posted. You keep penny pinching me. You keep charging me for shit that I already paid for. All right. I think he's onto something. And they'll make a change. Just people need to cut the bullshit. Because the majority of people that are all nostalgic about this, they're older people. They're in their 30s. These aren't kids. You know what I mean? It's like Mario and all these other things. Metroid. Young kids don't know this shit. We know this shit. This is us. This is Nintendo pointing a finger at us. When they're like, oh, it's for the kids. No. They're testing your intelligence as an adult. And you have to be responsible because it's all on you. Are you going to be the one hanging out with your buddies at the basketball court playing NBA 2K on your Switch? Is that going to be you? It's all on us. People got to wake up and realize that. And make that change. And instead of bitching, we're like, all right, well, they do this, they do that. No, we have the power to make these choices. Now with the internet, we can get vocal, and just tell them, no, I'm doing this. Why you got to keep coming up with these hash-ass versions? If it's not the same version from the other ones, you're not competing on that level. Stop making it seem like you're on that level then. Make your own versions. And they did that before on their other devices. They would have their own version. It'll be like, the Game Boy Advance version of the game, and also, Super or Advanced version. And once you heard that, oh, it's a modified version. Some shit's not going to be in there. But at least we know what we're getting into. Now when I see the NBA 2K one, I wonder what they're going to take out of that shit too. You know what I mean? You think it's going to have all the FMV videos that 2K is known for with their stories?
No, of course not.
No, it's not going to have that. Unless they try to pull a Quantum Break type of thing where you have to be tied online. Remember? I don't know if you know about that. With the Quantum Break, you had to be connected to the internet to go and watch those videos, and it would stream over. There was a way that you can download everything. But I wonder if that's the workaround. Like, oh, you want the full experience? Make sure you have a strong internet connection. And then, because if not, you're going to see a scene missing screen, and then it's going to load to the next basketball game.
Well, we'll see. We'll see about that.
Fire Pro Wrestling would be awesome on the Switch, and because it doesn't require much. That would be there. You go. Everybody would love it. That would be because it's you don't have to worry about it. It's not graphic intense. It doesn't have any crazy cutscenes and voice work and all that crap. That'd be awesome on the go. And that's sad, but that's what it is. That thing cannot run what we're expecting. We're talking on a scale right now of everything's 4K, right? You need 4K TV. We got the new 4K console, 4K, and Nintendo is still on 720. You know what I mean? And still talking about, well, some games run on 1080 if you connect to your TV and stuff. It's like that. Okay, so you're less. I accept what you are. You're a lesser console compared to the other ones. And for people that are just like, why is he on this rant? My whole thing is not so much. It's just I want what they're advertising on the other ones. If you're going to say it's 2K18, and that's coming for this version, I want the whole experience of 2K18. I don't want to downgrade. If it's a downgrade version, don't call it 2K18. I
agree.
What I'm getting at. That's my gripe.
Well, I agree. We'll see. We'll see what the game has in store for us. But yeah, we definitely have to wrap up. I know I have a couple other things I need to do.
We still got 4 more hours to go. What are you talking about?
Oh no! Them 4 hours, they have to be reserved for next week.
Okay.
I do have one thing to say though. Sports Illustrated just came out and said that the reason why Talking Smack was canceled or demoted was not because of the ratings. It was one of their most popular shows on the network. It was actually because Vince McMahon wanted to cancel the show because he didn't like the unscripted nature, and he plans to end it at some point.
Okay, there you go. So obviously the Miz and Daniel Bryan little shoot that they did. I guess everyone didn't like that.
If it's unscripted, that means he's not in anyone's earpiece.
Yep.
You know, on a headset, so he can't add his 2 cents, and he has no control. It's his world. You know, we're just watching it.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is. That goes to why everybody's frustrated, including Triple H.
Yeah. But, and I mean, eventually it will come to an end. It's just evolution. You know, we all come and go. You know, we don't live here forever. And I said that that's what it'll probably come to for him to make a change, or for the WWE product to change. But you know, hopefully sooner than later, you know, he wakes up. I don't know why I'm surprised. I thought that once they went public and there were shareholders involved, that we were going to see a different type of product. I was like, oh, well, he's going to make changes. He's going to have to listen to the people and make some stuff. But he's so stubborn, you know, and so
we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I think it's time to wrap up the show for this week. Any final things that you would like to say? Any final shout-outs? How about you go first, Adam?
Keep watching Lucha Underground, people. I know you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to see it. It's on Netflix. Look up on YouTube. Look up, how about this? I'll just make it easier. Look up, like, Jeremiah Crane versus Killshot. Look that one up. That's a great match. You know, look up Matanza, Monster Matanza versus Prince Puma. These are some amazing matches. If you just want to find something just to like stick in your head and see, but it's a great product. Watch that. It's so different. Once you watch it, you realize you're like, oh wow, this is not like anything I'm watching right now. You know, it's great. It's refreshing. You know, and then that's it. You know, enjoy life. You know, spend time with family, friends, and watch this and watch some Throwdown tomorrow. We'll be on talking shit about some questions. Some people had some issues about some other shit I said. About, what was that damn game? Some fucking game I said, and they got pissed off about it. But whatever. For Honor, that was it. I called it a button masher just because you have to button mash your way through because it's so complicated. A lot of people don't want to follow the rules. Did you play that game, For Honor?
I never played it. I know all about it.
I did.
You play, right? So it's like Bushido Blue, where it's trying to get real technical, but if a person doesn't know how to do the technical stuff, it will button mash.
Yeah. All right. So how about you, Dana? Any final shout outs?
I just want to say really quickly that if anyone wants to go to Battleground in Philadelphia, they're basically giving away the tickets because no one is buying. So go see your pay-per-view for about $15 if you're down in Philadelphia. And have fun.
Who's the main event for that one?
I don't.
Gender.
There you go. That's why.
Pajami prison match.
Nobody wants to see that damn match type come back. No. That was a horrible. They put that in the game, didn't they? Put that in the game.
One of the older games.
Yeah, I remember. That was so bad. That whole concept was horrible.
We'll have to talk. We will be talking about the Battleground card next week for sure. But yeah, that's we'll see. But thank everybody for checking out the show, listening. Feel free to leave your comments, your thoughts on any of the topics that we discussed, and we'll talk to you all next week.
All right.